Chapter 1701. Hurry up. The domain released by the arrogant wolf god had already begun to loosen. Chen Shang immediately opened a spatial tunnel and quickly left with Zhongsheng and the others. The sudden arrival of the white tiger gave Chen Shang and the others a very valuable opportunity to avoid a fierce battle with the arrogant wolf god. The place where Chen Shang and the others appeared in was an ice land, and this place was still Cold Wind Forest. Why is he still in Cold Wind Forest? I traveled a long way. Chen Shang looked around. I wonder how Senior White Tiger is doing. That arrogant wolf god is really amazing. If Master is able to break through the domain of the arrogant wolf god, even if he cannot beat the arrogant wolf god, he can still run. But let's hurry up and enter the Divine Fire Forest, it would be safer inside. Qi Shi said. The flames and heat emitted by the Divine Fire Forest can very well destroy the power of the domain. Even if the arrogant wolf god were to release his domain, it would not trap us to death. LV Gen nodded his head. I also want to take a look at the Life Forest's third barrier. Just as they were about to act, a mass of black fog appeared in front of them. The black fog turned into a white tiger. Master, what about arrogant wolf god? Seeing that the white tiger was able to catch up with them, Qi Shi was overjoyed. This fellow is temporarily trapped by my power of darkness. However, that won't last for long. This arrogant wolf god is very powerful. If it weren't for the fact that I have a breakthrough in my comprehension of the laws of darkness, we would definitely not have survived today. I'm only using the power of the law of darkness to force the arrogant wolf god into a dark world. However, his strength is very strong, and he will be able to break through very soon. LV Gen said. How long does he need to come out? If we enter the Divine Fire Forest, will it be much safer? Quote. This period of time is enough for us to enter the Divine Fire Forest, it will be much safer for us there. At least, we won't be able to unleash the power of the devils that he obtained in hell in the Divine Fire Forest. The flames inside the Divine Fire Forest are the same as your devilish suppression power, they have the effect of purifying the devils. The white tiger smiled at LV Gen. He knew that LV Gen was very strong and they had never communicated before, but they all knew each other well. Big White Cat, have you seen the vermilion bird in there? I didn't expect you to be fine. Long Shui chuckled. Of course I saw her. It was she who told me to do it for you guys, she was worried about a girl called Warm Moon trying to comfort her. The white tiger looked at Chen Shang. He knew that Dongfang Xinue was inside Chen Zhang's ring. Zhongsheng took out his boat and said, let's go to Divine Fire Forest quickly. It would be best if we go to a place with relatively strong flames. Originally, they were relatively close to the Divine Fire Forest, but in just 6 hours, they could see the flames in front of them rising into the sky. Those flames were all coming from the huge trees that were 300 meters tall. Dongfang Xinue once said that the flowers, plants and trees in the Divine Fire Forest were all special. To be able to continuously burn those flames without extinguishing, and the more strongly one burned those flames, the more exuberant the life force of those plants and flowers was. Old Zhang, can this boat of yours withstand the flames inside? Without any strength, every saint beast that enters will turn to dust. The white tiger said. Don't worry, this ship was created by me. It's only a tiny bit away from a divine artifact. That bit of flame can't do anything about it. Zhongsheng had already sensed the powerful flames in front of him. He was an artificer and was extremely sensitive to flames. Chen Shang asked. I wonder where the flames are the most powerful, arrogant wolf god shouldn't be too willing to go there, right? The white tiger replied, you'll have to ask the vermilion bird. She's been here for a long time, so she knows a lot about Divine Fire Forest. Zhongsheng's boat quickly entered the Divine Fire Forest. Even though there was a thick layer of space black iron in between, the people in the cabin could still feel a sense of warmth. This was the heat emitted from the flames in the Divine Fire Forest. What a terrifying flame, Chen Shang exclaimed. Even if it's a holy lord, I'm afraid you can't come in. As long as the fire resistance ability is strong, then it's fine. But if the fire resistance isn't strong enough, then even if a saint comes in, he'll still be burnt to ashes. Zhongsheng was obviously very excited. These flames are not bad, I want to stay here for a while and see if there is any way to make my fire soul have this flame's special name, so that when I deal with the evil demon in the future, I will have twice the result with half the effort. LV Gen laughed. I can pass you a cultivation technique called Demon Suppressing Flame Technique. If you cooperate with your own cultivation technique with the fire soul, I think you can absorb these flames to change your own fire attribute and thus have a stronger demonic suppressing power. Then I can't thank you enough. Zhongsheng laughed, which made him even happier. Qi Shi said, Master, did you also condense divine deity? Why did you suddenly become so powerful? You actually stopped a guy like arrogant wolf god. Quote, You're my disciple. In the past, you were much more powerful than me, and you even possessed divine deity. If I don't have divine deity now, wouldn't my rebirth be a waste? With regards to the white tiger that had died once, felt that it was not strange that it could condense divine deity at all. Furthermore, the white tiger and the dark rule spiritual bead were able to help him condense his divine deity. Long Shui scoffed, Big Lion, my divine deity is right on that arrogant wolf god. If you kill that fellow, you can return it to me. Didn't I give you some pears? At most, I will temporarily not pursue the matter with you. However, I did not say that you would not be allowed to pay it back, so if it is possible, you still have to return the divine deity back to me. Long Shui stuck out his tongue. Chen Shang said, If arrogant wolf god also enters the divine fire forest, if we join hands, would it be easier to kill him? White Tiger frowned, he thought for a while and said, It will be easier, but that does not mean that we have complete confidence and that we might even be injured. That guy is truly powerful, he should be a god, but his strength has been weakened. Since he was once a god, just his divine body is not something that we can easily touch. Quote, LV Gen nodded his head. The divine body is very powerful, even if he had a divine weapon, it would not be that easy. He would also need a considerable amount of strength to work with the divine weapon to break through the defense of his divine body. Zhongsheng asked, Where is the vermilion bird? If you add her to the mix. This is not something that I can persuade. After I found her, I was beaten up and scolded by her. While my anger has greatly lessened, it does not mean that I can persuade her to do something so dangerous. The white tiger shook its head. Let me say it, I have a way. Long Shui was very confident. Isn't it easy to deal with her? After getting rid of the arrogant wolf god, Long Shui would be able to recover her divine deity. Adding her supreme dragon blood, she would be able to cultivate a divine dragon body in the future, and would be a true divine dragon. At that time, she would be even more powerful, able to fight against gods of arrogant wolf gods level by herself. The flames released by the trees, flowers, and plants here were of the same degree and were extremely mystical. As the third barrier of the life forest, not only was the divine fire forest filled with the power of fire, there were also many hidden dangers inside. Chapter 1702, Let's go out together. It's not good to stay in this ship, it's too restrictive. Especially in this divine fire forest, we cannot immediately sense anything approaching us. The white tiger said. The group left the living room of the ship and entered the blazing forest. The flames here are really powerful. Chen Shang came to the side of a small flower as the flower heart burned with an intense flame. He stabbed his finger deep into the flower heart, and actually felt a slight burning pain. He had always been a fire expert, and his physical body was also extremely powerful. Even a small flower was enough to burn him to a crisp, causing him to sigh in amazement. As long as I strip it off, it won't burn. Chen Shang pulled out that small flower and carefully observed it. He discovered that this small flower contained a special energy. As long as it fused with another flower's energy, it would ignite into flames. Life forest is indeed not simple. Zhongsheng also carefully observed the plants that were burning in flames. The first barrier was the purple leaf forest, and the purple-colored plants were also very special. The cold energy in the cold wind forest was able to give birth to a large number of strong poisonous beasts that possessed the profound frost evil emperor, and this divine fire forest was even more special. Just the flames released by any one of these little flowers or grasses was enough to burn an immortal becoming realm ranker to death. The mischievous spirit has appeared. You guys be careful, although this thing isn't strong, it's very troublesome. If you don't pay attention, you might even get injured. The white tiger frowned. Chen Shang and the others did not realize, but after the white tiger gave the order, they looked around. On the branches of the trees, there were things about the size of human beings, their bodies burning with flames, almost like human beings. What is this? We didn't discover anything, Chen Shang said. Fire demons. Because they are born from the flames here, their auras are one with the environment here. It's definitely not easy to discover them. The white tiger said, Don't bother with them. Let's leave quickly. This should be their territory. Chen Shang and the rest followed closely behind, but before they could take more than a few steps, the fire demons had already pounced down from the trees, covering the sky with their attacks. Chen Shang punched in the air, releasing a rippling force that brought along a burst of gales, with which one punch scattered dozens of fire demons. However, his attacks didn't have much of an effect. The scattered flames quickly regrouped, especially those that fell to the ground. After transforming from a new fire demon, they continued to charge towards them. So hot, Zhang Sheng shouted. He took out a jasper gourd, which produced a strong suction force that instantly sucked the dozen or so fire demons that were flying over. Seeing this, Chen Shang anxiously took out the demon god's suppressing pagoda and stored the fire demons inside. Zhang Sheng had the most magic treasures, and in order to quickly deal with these fire demons, he took out the divine furnace to collect more fire demons. However, the number of fire demons decreased by a lot in an instant. "Alright, now we can leave quickly," the white tiger said. "We just need to pay attention to one thing and not enter the territory of some powerful individuals. We won't encounter any battles." The white tiger was more familiar with the divine fire forest. Ever since he met the fire demons, he became more cautious, avoiding the powerful fire beasts and rushing straight towards the vermilion bird's territory. The vermilion bird's territory was a very large short mountain. She lived in the belly of the mountain, and this mountain was filled with small trees, all of them burning with fire. There was no such fire in the cave, but there was still an uncomfortable heat. After arriving here, Chen Shang released Dongfang Xinyue. The reborn vermilion bird was very strong, it might even have divine deity. After arriving here, everyone felt much more relaxed. Even if the arrogant wolf god appeared again, they would no longer be afraid. Inside the mountain was a small palace, and inside it was the vermilion bird itself. She was already sitting in the hall waiting for Chen Shang. The vermilion bird was a bold woman. Chen Shang had known this before. However, he didn't think that the vermilion bird would actually look like a cute, round-faced woman, and it even looked a little soft. "It's good that you didn't die." The vermilion bird laughed lightly. She anxiously walked over and looked at Dongfang Xinyue, worried that he was injured, then she frowned and looked at him. The vermilion bird was wearing a red skirt, its face was round and sweet and beautiful, and it didn't look as spicy as Long Shui had said. At least, she gave Chen Shang a good first impression of it. "You are the one who overturned Endless Heaven Realm and Endless Heaven Realm, Chen Shang." The vermilion bird circled around Chen Shang once, then laughed sweetly. "You're out of the blue and you're out of the blue. You're even better than Qi Shi." Long Shui laughed complacently. "That's for sure, go and see who is guiding him from behind." "Little fire bird, we haven't seen each other for so many years, you seem to have gotten fatter." Quote. The vermilion bird patted Long Shui's towering chest and said, "Same here." Zhang Sheng chuckled. "Lord Vermilion Bird, I am only halfway through the task you entrusted to me, please forgive me." "Don't worry, my old bones can be refined into Suzakubo for Warm Moon and the others. However, you are too useless. You did not die, and even after living for so long, you are still that weak." The vermilion bird curled its lips. "Don't be afraid of me, I won't pursue the matter of the Suzaku silk." Zhang Sheng laughed heartily. "About this, I never thought that after you, Vermilion Bird, were reborn, your temper would become better and your strength would become stronger. I was originally just a piece of trash, and after thinking about it for so many years, I still don't know how to cultivate divine deity." Long Shui, White Tiger and Vermilion Bird all wanted to obtain divine deity. If Qi Shi didn't die back then, he would have one now. "That's because you're useless. Senior Lu is also a human, and you can cultivate divine deity." Long Shui laughed. LV Gen laughed and said, "I think we should first discuss how to deal with the arrogant wolf god. This guy will most likely come chasing us." The vermilion bird frowned. "You guys want to deal with someone like the arrogant wolf god? Do you want to join hands and get rid of him here?" Quote. Long Shui nodded. "It's really so. If you had joined, then we would have definitely taken him down. This guy has my divine deity on him. Don't expect me to make a move. Arrogant wolf god is not easy to deal with." The vermilion bird replied, "Although I have always been here, I am more familiar with the matters of the infernal realm and the god's realm. Why, the flames here can weaken his strength." Long Shui said. The vermilion bird's temper had improved by a lot. This was beyond her expectations, but she still did not agree. The vermilion bird said, "It's not that I don't want to help you get your divine deity back, it's that arrogant wolf god isn't an ordinary guy who has been suppressed. Someone who has caused so much trouble in the gods' realm like him should have his divine deity removed, then his body destroyed, and his soul suppressed. But he hasn't, his physical body and soul are all here. Quote. Right now, he is only supporting a body that isn't in a good condition to deal with you. He isn't being suppressed in hell, and with his terrifying recovery speed, it won't be long before he recovers a lot of strength. The flames here can't do anything to him. LV Jen took a light breath. That's right, arrogant wolf god's evil reputation is very famous in the gods' realm. Logically speaking, he should be severely punished, but from the looks of it, he shouldn't be a big deal. But releasing arrogant wolf god now is equivalent to releasing him in disguised form. Quote. The situation in the infernal realm is very complicated, so Hell Devil Emperor can do whatever he wants. With one arrogant wolf god, there will be two of them. With our current strength, even if we add all of them together, we won't be able to withstand it for long. The Vermilion Bird sighed, if we want to kill him, it will be even more difficult to reclaim his divine deity. Dongfang Xinyue asked in a low voice, then will arrogant wolf god be here soon? Ancestor Suzaku, didn't your position here already become exposed? Quote. Don't worry, I've been here for so many years. I've wanted to walk around for a long time, it doesn't matter if I'm exposed. The Vermilion Bird smiled faintly at Dongfang Xinyue. She was very good to Dongfang Xinyue. So you're saying, we should now think of a way to get rid of the arrogant wolf god? Zhang Sheng said. I originally planned to cultivate here. The White Tiger and Vermilion Bird looked at each other and nodded. The only good thing about the Divine Fire Forest is that it can prevent his domain from being released. He cannot use his powerful strength to seal it off, so even if we meet him, we can still run away. The Vermilion Bird said. After Chen Shang thought about it carefully, he sighed, arrogant wolf god's goal is me, so all of you don't have to follow me and take the risk. How can that be? You have also seen the arrogant wolf god. That guy is scary, Qi Shi said. If you face it yourself, it will definitely be even more dangerous. The Vermilion Bird said, arrogant wolf god definitely has a backer, as long as he completes the deal with Hell Devil Emperor and kills you. Hell Devil Emperor will definitely help him return to God's realm, and in order for God's realm to help him get rid of his crimes, he will also secretly give him a certain amount of support. What you are facing right now is not only arrogant wolf god, but the power behind arrogant wolf god as well. Chen Shang said. I want to enter the depths of Life Forest, the dark area behind the third barrier, but I will stay at the edge for a while. When arrogant wolf god finds me, I will bring him in. No way, this is too dangerous. That area is terrifying, the Vermilion Bird hurriedly said. Warm Moon is connected to you by life. Just undo the master-servant contract. Chen Shang said. I want to go in and take a look. If I can't get out, there's no need to worry, as long as I have sufficient strength and use the power of space well, I can still get out later. Chen Shang felt that if he was unable to deal with arrogant wolf god, there would still be a chaos fire in the end. Chapter 1703. The dark region was extremely dangerous, only the Vermilion Bird had ever entered here, so she was the most against Chen Shang entering. I'll go with you, I believe you'll be fine. Dongfang Xinyue clenched her teeth, she really wanted to go with Chen Shang, she felt that this would give him some mental support. The Vermilion Bird sighed, all right, you must bring the Warm Moon back. I hope that when you come out, you will have the strength to shake off the arrogant wolf god, and we will work harder to see if we can increase our strength quickly. At that time, we might be able to help you a little. Then I will leave now. If I stay here for too long, it will bring you trouble. Chen Shang would be located by the Hell Devil Emperor at any time. As long as he stayed in one place for too long, a large group of experts would catch up to him very quickly. Long Shui and Dongfang Xinyue entered the ring. After Chen Shang and Qi Shi bid farewell to him, they left the Vermilion Bird's cave and went outside into the world of flames. Although the fire beasts in the Divine Fire Forest were strong, they were not as terrifying as the ones in the arrogant wolf god, found it easier to deal with the domain that could seal off his surroundings. In order to not stray from the direction, he ran for a distance and traveled through space. This way, he would be able to travel far away from the Vermilion Bird at an extremely fast speed, and he had stayed at the Vermilion Bird's location for too long. If the arrogant wolf god wanted to catch up, the distance between them might be very close. Time is really too tight, who would have known that an arrogant wolf god would suddenly appeared? If not, we could get him to use his space black iron to refine a ship that can cut off space, we could have avoided the tracing mantra of the Hell Devil Emperor. Long Shuiyi was a little helpless as he sighed. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. Sister Shuiyi, are you underestimating me? I can refine here too, it's just that I'm not as proficient and fast as Senior Zhang. Chen Shang said. Warm Moon, will that type of ship really be able to get rid of the tracing mantra and just hide inside? It should be possible, if it is all made by space black iron, adding a few spatial array spirit grain S, it can make the boat inside a space for reading. It is not connected to Endless Heaven Realm and Nine Heaven World, but it can move between Endless Heaven Realm and Nine Heaven World, and maybe the tracing mantra can know where you are inside the boat, but it doesn't know where your boat is. Dongfang Xinyue said. To get the space black iron, you need to refine it out of so many stones. This is a huge project. If it is the old Zhang, he would use the flames here to refine it quickly. But right now, you are the only one who is refining the space black iron in the ring. Long Shuiyi muttered. Seems like I have to help too, refine the space black iron out. Chen Shang suddenly stopped and said, how about I call Shenxian and the others over, I can open a spatial tunnel and send a sound transmission to them, telling them to come over by themselves, that way I won't have to go back. He did not return to the Nine Heaven World because he did not want to lead this trouble to the Nine Heaven World, where a stable development was needed right now. Then let's hurry, they should be inside the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Long Shuiyi said. Chen Shang first opened up a small spatial passageway, allowing his own divine power to enter, entering the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Who is it? Not long after, Chen Shang felt his divine power being almost shattered by a voice. This was LV Kilian's divine power, yet it had actually become so strong, which surprised him greatly. Sister Kilian, didn't your father say that you were in closed-door cultivation? Chen Shang anxiously replied, to prevent himself from being shaken by LV Kilian. I am currently in closed-door training, but I have to constantly pay attention to the situation outside. I heard that Hell Devil Emperor is using his divine deity to place a bounty on you. LV Kilian suddenly asked a bunch of questions. It's a long story. Hell Devil Emperor has already offered 3 divine deity rewards to me, and for Life Forest who is in Sacred Water Heavenly Realm, I met your father here, and it was all thanks to his sudden appearance that I was able to escape this calamity. Munger and Shenxian are with you, I need them to come over and help me. Chen Shang said anxiously, there's also Yulan, Jinger, Lingling. Are they in Hundreds of Flowers Palace? Munger, Shenxian, Jinger and Yulan are all here. Wei Shan brought Lingling back to the Ice Dragon clan. LV Kilian could tell from Chen Zhang's tone that he was extremely anxious, so he did not say much. I'll get little Lizzie to find them, how are you doing now, and whether or not you need my help, I can immediately come out and help you. Chen Shang had not been in contact with LV Kilian for a period of time, and the situation on Chen Zhang's side was not looking good. LV Kilian had always been worried in her heart, but she realized that her feelings for Chen Shang had sunk deeper and deeper, and it was difficult for her to break away from them. After all, she had once trained with Chen Shang on the God's Join method for a period of time. No need for now, use the divine deity that Senior Lu gave you properly. I'm doing fine here, Chen Shang said. Let little Lizzie take them to a quiet and spacious place, I'll bring them over. Alright, I heard that Shangyu and Qianchen found traces of Dan Emperor. In order to learn more profound alchemy, they got up and went to search for Dan Emperor, they aren't here. LV Kilian said. Yes, Chen Shang had already seen Lu Munger and the other girls bringing little Lizzie to a deserted place in the Forbidden Grounds. He immediately increased the power of space and opened a slightly larger space gate. I have a very strong flame on my side. Be careful when you come over, it might be a little hotter. Lu Munger and the others heard Chen Zhang's voice coming from the spatial gate and nodded, then stepped into the spatial gate. Very quickly, Chen Shang saw a few beautiful female figures appear in the blazing world. Seeing these beautiful women, he felt extremely happy in his heart. What is this place? It's so hot, Leng Yulan shouted, her face full of smiles, because Chen Shang had finally brought her out for an adventure. I won't say much, I'm being hunted down right now. You should know that to a safe place first. As Chen Shang said this, he brought the few girls into the ring, allowing Long Shuiyi and Dongfang Xinyue to properly tell them about his experiences during this period of time. Chen Shang, do you need any more helpers? Little Lizzie asked Chen Shang through the dimensional door. She knew that Chen Shang had introduced many strong female rankers, and she even had a kind of indescribable emotion towards Chen Shang. Even she herself had some unspeakable feelings for Chen Shang. No need for now. If you need me, I'll look for you guys again. Chen Shang replied. Then be careful. Little Lizzie already knew about the Hell Devil Emperor's bounty on Chen Shang, and this matter had long spread like wildfire. Chen Shang closed his spatial door and rushed towards the darkness. If not for the fact that he was worried about the arrogant wolf god chasing him, he would have had a good chat with the girls. Shui Yi, was the vermilion bird divine art taught to me by you? Back then, when Chen Shang was in danger, a mysterious woman passed down her powers to her. It's not me. Long Shui Yi laughed heartily. It's the other big sister. She knew about Little Scoundrel before me, it was them who brought Little Scoundrel onto the streets. Them. Shui Shenxian slightly furrowed his brows. Yes, they are very powerful, but they are injured. It's a long story, I'll tell it slowly. Long Shui Yi said. Now, there was no need to hide the matter between Su Meiyao and himself. After hearing everything, Leng Yulin and the other girls sighed endlessly, because Long Shui, Su Meiyao and his wife had all accompanied him through so many things, and had witnessed all kinds of things that had happened between them and Chen Shang. Shui Shenxian and Lu Menger's faces were a little red because they were already Chen Zhang's people. Especially Lu Menger, who would often get lustfully teased by Chen Shang, and there were 3 other women watching from the sidelines. I never thought that Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao, who have been missing for so many years, would always be together with Little Scoundrel. If they could recover their strength, they would definitely be very strong, right? Shui Shenxian sighed with emotion. They helped Little Scoundrel so much. Fortunately, Little Scoundrel didn't disappoint them. Leng Yulin laughed. I really want to see them, they have witnessed the way I know them, and they have definitely helped me a lot. I need to thank them properly. I heard that Bai Yuyu is difficult to fight, and it's a woman with a heavy killing heart. I want to fight with her. Yu Lan, I promise you that you won't be disappointed when the time comes. Although elder sister Yuyu is usually cold, she is very aggressive. Long Shui laughed, as he stroked her long hair. You still look so domineering when you're white-haired, but this is also good, you look more like a woman. Dongfang Jing said. Sisters, shouldn't we start refining space black iron S and help brother refine a boat? That way, we can be together with brother. I can't even see him right now. Dongfang Xinyue patted Dongfang Xinyue's head and laughed. Jingjing, did you learn a lot of skills from Menger and the rest? Your hands are itchy, and you want to try your hand at them, right? When Kong Bailing and Pearl finally finished cultivating, they saw that there were still 2 women left. Both Shui Shenxian and Lu Menger harumphed in their hearts. Under Long Shui's introductions, they quickly found out how powerful Kong Bailing and Pearl were. Especially Leng Yulin, who clamored to taste a Pearl's tears. If Scorpion Sis was here, she would definitely be very happy. She really likes this kind of strange poison. Shui Shenxian looked at the beautiful white feathers on Kong Bailing's head and laughed. That Scorpion Sis, didn't she have a long braid that hung down her chest? There was a hook at the end of the braid. Her eyes were purple and she looked extremely cold. Long Shui asked. Leng Yulin and Shui Shenxian shook their heads. We only know that her name is Z Scorpion. Usually, she covers her face and leads the way by covering it. She's so scary that I don't even dare to fight with her. However, she is very polite to us. Leng Yulin said. Chapter 1704. She is Bai Yuyu's older sister, Devil Scorpion Princess Bai Ziqian. You all should know her, right? Long Shui laughed. This Devil Scorpion Princess and Little Scoundrel's relationship isn't bad, of course she's polite to you guys. Little Scoundrel helped her a few times, and gave her some super old poison S. No wonder she joined the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. It turns out it was all because of Little Scoundrel. Shui Shenxian scoffed. It seems like the majority of the women who have good relations with the Little Scoundrel are now the 4 sisters Zilan, Yao Shumai, her mother, and Yu Shuilian, the Lotus Goblin, and little sister Mu Chenxiang is also Boss Hua's disciple. Quote. Long Shui chuckled. Big sister Little Fairy, then in the future, you should be mentally prepared. This Little Scoundrel's hands will stretch out really long. Lu Menger scoffed softly. Also, the Little Scoundrel has saved Shui Ying before, and she has always kept him on her lips. Leng Yulin laughed out loud. Big bro is so awesome, I have everything. In the future, there will be more beautiful big sisters fighting with me. Just as Leng Yulin finished speaking, he was pinched on his face by Shenxian as he rolled his eyes at her, causing all the girls present to laugh. Come, come, come. Let's eat something good before we start our work. This is holy snow pear, a very tasty and sweet sacred fruit. Long Shui very generously took out these holy fruits, and then took out a set of tools, and began to make these golden jade fishes. Other than that, there were also some extremely delicious, sweet, and high-grade immortal fruits that squeezed out the juice. It's such a pity that little sister Chenxiang isn't here. These things are way too extravagant. Lang Yulin's eyes shone as he looked at the precious holy fruit and immortal fruits on the stone table. No wonder you were able to stay in this place for so long. It's so delicious. Shui Shenxian took a light bite of the holy snow pear. Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Jing also savored the taste, with Lang Yulin being the only big and tall one, finishing one in 2 or 3 bites. Dongfang Xinyue, Pearl and Kong Bailing had been here for a few days already, so they had already tasted it. Jing Jing, this is the inheritance fruit from the vermilion bird ancestor. Eat it now, and cultivate well here. Only by obtaining the vermilion bird ancestor's inheritance will you become stronger, and only then will you be able to help your brother. Dongfang Xinyue gave Dongfang Jing a fiery red fruit. Dongfang Jing nodded, and she listened to Dongfang Xinyue's words very carefully. "Aunt, it's been hard on you, I'll definitely make good use of it. Jing Jing, hurry up and become stronger. This way, I won't always win against you in fights in the future." Lang Yulin laughed. "In the future, we can go and kill the night devil together." After Dongfang Jing ate it, he entered a secret room and went into closed-door cultivation. There were instructions for him on what to do next. Chen Shang gave some blood pills to the girls, but they did not eat them now, as they still had urgent matters to attend to. "There are no crafting furnaces here, so it shouldn't be a problem for you?" Long Shui asked. "The effect isn't too big. We are mainly cultivating the divine path. Although we don't have a soul yet, we can already use our soul consciousness and our saint force to forge artifacts in the void. It shouldn't be a problem for us to work together," Lu Meng'er said. Lu Meng'er and Shui Shenxian had already turned into saints. Although they were only at the divine immortal level, their foundation was very stable, and they had very high attainments in artifact forging. Long Shui said, "How about this? I will use my divine power to create a cauldron for you guys. When the time comes I will cooperate with you, this will save you some energy. You guys don't have a soul, this isn't good. Once I've done this, I'll have the little scoundrel think of a way to get a soul for each of you." Long Shui said. "I don't need it." Lang Yulin laughed, "It existed when my white dragon vein awakened. I don't need it. I obtained it through the vermilion bird legacy fruit." Dongfang Xinyue said. Chen Shang didn't hear the conversation of the few women inside. He was currently approaching the dark area continuously. He was only approaching it first, and wouldn't enter it for the time being unless he was forced to. Now that he had brought a few of his beloved women with him, he didn't want to risk his life with them. Thus, he had to be even more careful. As Chen Shang traveled, he suddenly felt a very weak change in the temperature of his surroundings. This was because his divine deity was a little special, so he was very sensitive to everything around him. There is an aura that is different from the aura of the divine fire forest's flames. Although it seems to be close, and it means that something is approaching, Shui Yi, help me look at what is approaching. It seems to be a fire beast, but its aura shouldn't be like this. Chen Shang said. Hearing Chen Zhang's voice, other than Long Shui, Dongfang Xinyue and the others, Shui Shenxian, who just entered the Yuyao ring, became anxious. They knew that Chen Zhang's situation was similar to what it had been for many years, but they had never experienced it with Chen Shang personally, so they could not help but be anxious. However, this helped them understand more about how difficult it was for Chen Shang to be outside, and it was not like they imagined it would happen. Long Shui's detection abilities were a little stronger than Chen Zhang's, but because she was in the serene jade ring, her senses were not as sharp as Chen Zhang's. The aura of this flame is very special, and it has a hint of the odor of hell. It's just like the arrogant wolf god, but it's not the kind of extremely evil power that the arrogant wolf god possesses. Long Shui frowned. Could it be the hell-suppressing guardians of the infernal realm? I heard that the flames these things emit are extremely harmful to the demons of the infernal realm. Chen Shang immediately increased his speed, raising it to the limit. He was also traveling through space a lot of distance, and the guy chasing him now also came from hell. He looked to be about as strong as the arrogant wolf god. These prison guards aren't real gods, but their strengths are very strong. They should be specially used in the infernal realm to deal with some of the weaker little devils, but if they can obtain divine deity, then they can become real gods. Therefore, divine deity is a great temptation for them. Long Shui said. In this divine fire forest, the power that the hell-suppressing guardians unleashed was far stronger than that of the arrogant wolf god. In order to kill him, the Hell Devil Emperor had spent a lot of effort and used all kinds of power from hell to give him this treatment. In the 10 days ago, Great Yan Jing did not have this kind of treatment. Could it be that she's about to force her way into the darkness? I don't know what's inside, but the vermilion bird didn't remind me. Could it be that even she didn't truly enter into the darkness? Chen Shang looked ahead. Although he did not see the dark area, he felt that they were approaching. Chapter 1705. The hell-suppressing guardians was not an evil demon who cultivated evil powers, and he himself also knew how to use the powerful prison god's flame. Even if he wasn't as powerful as the arrogant wolf god, he still wouldn't be able to deal with it easily. What I can rely on is spatial energy. In order to shorten the distance between Chen Shang and the hell-suppressing guardians, he had no choice but to enter the tyrannical space first, and then travel through it to increase the distance between him and the hell-suppressing guardians. Can't I hide in the tyrannical space? Shui Shenxian asked. It can be done, but you can't stay for too long because the situation inside is very complicated. At all times, you have to maintain the highest state of vigilance, or else if you aren't careful you will encounter big trouble. It would be very tiring. Chen Shang said. Don't worry about me, I still have other methods to avoid encountering that guy. At this time, Chen Shang braced himself and continued to move closer to the dark region. 2 days later, he saw a black floating wall in front of him, and from afar, it looked like a belt of black fog that went straight to the top, enveloping the mysterious dark region inside. We're here, the dark area is inside. It's not simple. Looking at it from here, you can feel a very stifling power. Chen Shang frowned. There is still a very strong sealing power for space, it seems that entering it will not be that easy. Don't go in for the time being. Let's see what can be done to deal with the hell-suppressing guardians outside. I am also a little afraid of the dark area right now. It really is scary, Long Shui said. Chen Shang did not continue moving forward. He felt that if he took another step forward, it would make his heart feel very uncomfortable, so that kind of strange feeling was hard to describe. Hell-suppressing guardians uses flames. If you think of a way to suppress his flames, it might be a lot easier. Long Shui said. Chen Shang looked at his surroundings and sighed. All around us are these strange flames. If the hell-suppressing guardians was able to control these flames, then it would be even more powerful. Even if not, this environment is very advantageous for him. Quote, how many God Eclipse powder are there? Long Shui said. Use the God Eclipse powder, magical corruption gas and drunk God magical poison, use all of the strange poison, I don't believe that I can't beat this guy. Chen Shang clenched his teeth, and said, all right, I will use up all of my stock, and see if there are any effects. The only thing was that he was currently using them against a hell-suppressing guardians from hell. These hell-suppressing guardians were all experts who had cultivated in the gods' realm before. Although they did not have divine deity, their strength was not to be underestimated. The hell-suppressing guardians had not come yet, so Chen Shang decided to refine all of them together. If he were to flee all over the place, the hell-suppressing guardians would not be able to catch up with him, but there was no other way. Right now, there was only one hell-suppressing guardians chasing him. Taking advantage of the fact that there was only one hell-suppressing guardians left, and during an easier time, he would try his best to kill it and obtain its powerful soul. What he needed to do now was to continuously strengthen his own soul, let him possess Emperor soul, and then strengthen his own body so that he could become a true strong of Lord stage. At that time, relying on those divine tools would not mean he had to be afraid of the strong warriors that Hell Devil Emperor had sent from hell. You're not running anymore. Were you waiting for me? A big tree suddenly cracked open, and a middle-aged man in a red robe walked out. His entire body was burning with flames, and he was holding 2 huge blades in his hands. Chen Shang never thought that the hell-suppressing guardians would arrive so quickly. Fortunately, he was very fast in refining the strange poison. He had already refined many different kinds of poison together, but the God Eclipse powder were different, because when the two were mixed together, the strange poison would be corroded by the God Eclipse powder. You came pretty fast. Chen Shang was calm and composed. He smiled at hell-suppressing guardians. From the looks of it, you don't seem like someone who would work for Hell Devil Emperor at all. Flames gushed out of hell-suppressing guardians' eyes, and he said coldly, that's right, but I need divine deity. I killed you and obtained the divine deity. This is a very fair deal, I didn't work hard for him. Quote, how much am I worth now? Seeing that the other party had walked in step by step, Chen Shang also slowly backed off. Hell-suppressing Guardians' two giant blade with a burning red ghost head was simply too frightening and gave Chen Shang a lot of psychological pressure. 4. Hell-suppressing Guardians roared. He slashed with his two blades, and two pillars of flame shot out, transforming into two demons bearing their fangs and brandishing their claws. They pounced towards Chen Shang. It had actually risen to 4 divine deities. Even Chen Shang himself wanted to hand him over for those 4 divine deity. This was just too enticing, it was simply too hard to resist, and right now, he also felt a headache. If he did not have absolute strength, he would become the target of many strong enemies from now on. Don't think that the 4 divine deities are so good. Chen Shang stomped his feet, and a flame Tai Chi diagram array appeared on the ground. The green dragon demon slain broadsword appeared in his hands, and the Tai Chi diagram array that was thrown into the ground started spinning furiously as the Tai Chi diagram array spun. The 2 powerful flames that hell-suppressing guardians had released were instantly cut apart. When hell-suppressing guardians saw the Tai Chi diagram, he hastily jumped out, otherwise his entire body would have been twisted into knife scars. You're so amazing, there's no need for you to hide. Chen Shang sneered. He suddenly disappeared along with the primal chaos divine saber formation and then reappeared next to the hell-suppressing guardians, allowing his own blade formation to envelop the hell-suppressing guardians. The blade formation frantically rotated, and countless green dragon demons slain broadsword like numerous green dragons, began to revolve wildly around Chen Shang, like a tornado. And the things that were swept in, were all shattered into pieces. Break! The hell-suppressing guardians roared. A burst of blood-red flames burst out of his body, shaking out a burst of scorching chi wave, engulfing everything in its path, and annihilating a large amount of giant trees that were burning with flames. Chen Zhang's primal chaos divine saber formation had also been scattered. His entire body was blown away by that wave of energy and both his body and soul felt a scorching pain. So this is the hell-holding godfire. You are no different from a demon from hell. Hell-suppressing guardians held a thick black iron chain, on it burned a blood-red blaze. He swung the iron chain, fiercely lashing at Chen Shang, and in an instant it had struck Chen Zhang's body. The speed was extremely fast, it was as though the space was shortened. Boom! Chen Zhang's chest was hit by the iron chain, producing a huge explosion. A huge crater was formed on the ground, and the flames were like giant wolves as they surged, engulfing the entire forest. How could an ordinary body like yours be able to withstand the power of the prison? To be able to enjoy it before death is already quite good. This is something that only the famous fiends of the infernal realm can experience. Seeing Chen Shang being sent flying and vomiting blood on the ground, hell-suppressing guardians felt that his victory was within his grasp and laughed complacently. Boom, boom, boom. Hell-suppressing guardians frantically whipped Chen Shang, sending Chen Shang flying time and time again. He just stood there and did not move his body. Chen Shang was slapped too far away, he had once again used the iron chains to wrap around him, and continued to hit him. Let me break your hand first. The hell-suppressing guardians was very skilled, laughing evilly while increasing his strength. Aiming at Chen Zhang's arm, he aimed at it and ruthlessly lashed out with the iron chain, lashing at Chen Zhang's arm, causing it to bend at will. It looked to be extremely painful. Chen Shang clenched his teeth, endured the pain, and did not shout out. Over here, haha, hell-suppressing guardians was currently very excited, because he had already tightly suppressed Chen Shang and had no power to resist him. Previously, he had guessed that Chen Shang was very weak, otherwise, he would not have kept on running. Chen Zhang's other arm was immediately broken after it was hit, and fresh blood dripped out. Even though it was a very sturdy metal bone, it had completely shattered. Then the legs. Hell-suppressing guardians continued to swing the fiery red chain that was as thick as his thigh. Although it looked huge and heavy, it was extremely nimble in his hands. Boom, boom. Chen Zhang's legs had already been cut off, but he continued to grit his teeth, kept quiet, and endured the enormous pain. Prepare to return to the infernal realm. I wonder if I can bring the living back with me. Would I be able to get a better reward? Hell-suppressing guardians was very happy and walked to Chen Zhang's side. At this time, Chen Zhang's 4 limbs had already been ripped apart, all of his bones were smashed into pieces, his flesh was mangled and his abdomen was split open with a large hole, the broken ribs had popped out, and it was obvious that it was a golden bone. Hell-suppressing guardians lifted Chen Shang up, fiercely punched his face a few times, and said with disdain, "Isn't it just a little stinky brat, actually worth 4 divine deity? Hell Devil Emperor is making a big fuss out of nothing. But this is just right for me. 4 divine deity pellets, haha. PFF'd. Chen Shang aimed at hell-suppressing Guardians' opened mouth and fiercely spat out a large mouthful of blood, which was spat into hell-suppressing Guardians' mouth. You're courting death. The hell-suppressing Guardians was enraged and sent Chen Shang flying with a slap. Chen Shang laid on the ground like a pile of mud. However, he was laughing crazily like a madman. Ha 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 ha. Chen Zhang's body was in great pain, and when he laughed, he even cried out in pain, which sounded extremely strange. What are you laughing about? You're about to die. Just as hell-suppressing Guardians brandished the iron chain in his hand, his expression suddenly changed. He discovered that his energy was rapidly draining away. Those who are still in danger of death, who do you still not know? Chen Shang endured his pain and laughed. The blood I spat out just now, tasted good, right? Hell-suppressing Guardians' face paled. Poisonous, it's the super old poison. Quote. Chapter 1706. Hell-suppressing Guardians suddenly felt his body turning soft and cold. 2 other powers were flowing in his blood. This hell-suppressing Guardians was just too powerful. After he found out about the poison, he immediately used his powerful strength to suppress the super old poison. Just how many types of super old poison are there? Hell-suppressing Guardians' expression turned uglier and uglier. He could feel that there were several types of poison, and they were very powerful, all at the super old poison's level. Not many, just 5. Chen Shang laughed out loud. What, you're scared, aren't you invincible? I want to see how you can get rid of these 5 super old poison, how you can enjoy yourself enjoying so many super old poison before you die. I'm afraid you're the first person in history, your luck is good. Chen Shang had previously hidden those gentle super old poison inside his body, and spat out a poisonous pill while spitting out blood. Hell-suppressing Guardians was anxious and angry, he bellowed, he did not dare to shout, afraid of triggering the poison. Don't be happy too early, to tell you the truth, we came in a small team, we have a total of 4 people, and I still have 3 other companions on the way. Although the super old poison are powerful, I can still hold on, and as long as my companions send me back to hell, I will have a way to expel the poison. The hell-suppressing Guardian sat on the ground and closed his eyes to suppress the super old poison. Chen Shang laughed coldly. You had intended to keep the 4 divine deity pellets for yourself just now, but now you call them your companions. You didn't think of all these companions just now. You're so heavily injured right now, you should just lie there and wait for death. Hell-suppressing Guardians opened his eyes and glared at Chen Shang. At this moment, his entire body was covered in sweat, because those super old poison were truly too strong. Chen Shang also felt that it was unbelievable, that magical corruption gas, drunk god magical poison, blood orchid mantra and old man Gu were mixed together, and the quantity was so large, but this hell-suppressing Guardians could actually endure it. There are still 3 hell-suppressing Guardians coming. It looks like I have to enter the dark area now. Chen Shang had already sensed the auras of the other 3 hell-suppressing Guardians. My comrade is here. You will die today. The hell-suppressing Guardians heaved a sigh of relief. Right now, he did not dare to use his powers carelessly. After saying that, hell-suppressing Guardians suddenly felt his body moving. What are you doing? Hell-suppressing Guardians looked around and realized that the land he and Chen Shang were on was actually moving swiftly towards the dark area ahead. Of course it's to go inside. I heard that it's very scary inside. In any case, you and I are about to die, so why don't we just die inside? Chen Shang laughed. Although he was lying there and did not move, his soul was not harmed at all, and his god powers were vast, allowing him to use spatial powers and perform spatial techniques similar to the earth shrinking art to move to the other side. Bastard, stop it. Do you really not know how scary it is inside? At this moment, he was getting closer and closer to the dark region. He could clearly see the black aura floating outside the darkness region, and as long as he passed through the huge black belt, he would enter the darkness region. I truly do not know. No matter how frightening it is inside, since I am going to die, I might as well drag you down with me. Chen Shang laughed very easily. It was unknown whether hell-suppressing Guardians was so angry that he could not speak, or was scared speechless. In the blink of an eye, Chen Shang and hell-suppressing Guardians were wearing a black belt. It was pitch black inside. But the darkness did not last long before they saw some light, and then they felt themselves falling. The space is changing. Chen Shang frowned. They were originally going forward, but now they suddenly dropped, going left and right at the same time. Can you go back? Long Shui asked. I don't know yet, but the changes in space here are very strange. Even if I have the space laws, it would still be difficult to find out. Chen Shang said. Looks like the power that separates here, other than the power of space, there is also another type of law energy. When these two powers are combined together, and then mixed together in reverse, it's very difficult to fathom. What is the power of the other law? Asked curiously. Other than Long Shui, no one else knew of Chen Zhang's miserable state. It should be the time laws. The power of time has always been mysterious, I'm not too sure either. In short, the chaos in space plus the confusion in time forms a very strong barrier. It's very difficult to leave this place after entering, Chen Shang said. After a while, neither Chen Shang nor the hell-suppressing guardians moved. They were both lying in the same place and there was the scent of the soil in this place. They had already arrived at a relatively normal place, but this place was completely dark. 9 Crimson Star, 9 Calamity God's punishment, finished, everything is finished. The hell-suppressing guardians watched as the 9 blood stars formed in a straight line, emitting a blood-red glow that enveloped the entire ground. The ground was eerily dark red, and the surroundings were a desolate place. The faint blood-red light shone through, and one could see the dark red, withered hills, which added to the eerie atmosphere of the place. What divine punishment of the 9 disasters? Chen Shang asked. HMPH, we were killed by you. Without sufficient strength, we cannot leave this place. The hell-suppressing guardians glared at Chen Shang. You better give me a quick death right now so that my soul can quickly descend into hell. However, looking at you, you don't have the ability to kill me. Quote. All the bones in Chen Zhang's body shattered, but he could still move. He could make his divine power seep into his 4 limbs, and then use his divine power to replace the bones and allow himself to move flexibly. Weren't you afraid before? Why are you in such a hurry to die? Chen Shang was very confused. If you don't die soon, as long as the 9 stars circulate, you won't be able to die even if you want to. You will be tortured until the next time the 9 stars form a new line. Hell-suppressing guardians looked up in fear, seeing the 9 blood-red stars that were emitting red light in the sky. That is the god's punishment, the power that specializes in punishing the gods. If one receives the highest punishment in God's realm, they will be thrown here, and only after 9 consecutive rounds will they be released. Chen Shang exclaimed. Doesn't that mean there are other gods here? This place is an ancient god's punishment grounds. It has already been sealed for a very long time, but the energy that is circulating here is still here, so it will be sealed here. There are no gods left in this place. You can leave after being tortured here for 981 times. This is an ancient god's punishment grounds. It has already been sealed for a very long time, but the energy that is circulating here is still here, so it will be sealed here. Hell-suppressing guardians' face was filled with despair. And when the great calamity descends, you will not die, because this place will make you endure endless pain at all times. Chapter 1707. Chen Shang and the others were shocked that the dark area of the life forest was actually a god realm punishment grounds. Now that they had barged into this place and were unable to leave, and the punishment energy had not disappeared, it meant that the punishment energy would continue. As long as there was a creature inside, it would be activated. Chen Shang tried to use his spatial energy, but it was completely useless. The space and time here were extremely strange, and the spatial laws he mastered were not applicable here at all. If you want to die, then don't resist the poison in your body. Just let the poison spread and you can die. Chen Shang was calm, but he used his divine power to support his body and slowly moved towards hell-suppressing guardians. This won't do. If those strange poisons destroy my body, then a power will be born here. It will invade my body to restore my body, and my soul will also be forcefully pulled back into my body by that power to continue bearing the punishment. Hell-suppressing guardians snorted. Even if you wanted to kill me now, you wouldn't be able to. There is another power in this place that can revive dead people. Otherwise, the life forest outside would not have been so strange, it would have been affected by the life force here. Chen Shang laughed. I can't kill you. If I kill you, don't regret it. Of course, the dead cannot be regretted. Quote. Come at me. Hell-suppressing guardians was very confident that Chen Shang wouldn't be able to kill him. All of the bones in Chen Zhang's body had been broken, and his muscles had been severely injured. However, his divine power was very strong. He could use it to attach to his 4 limbs, and then use it to move his limbs. Then I'll thank you first. Chen Shang snickered and took out a special wooden box. After opening the wooden box, there was some white powder. Thank me. What is that thing in your hand? The hell-suppressing guardians frowned. Chen Shang had many kinds of strange poisons in his hands. He thought that this might be a very strong poison. Something that can take your life. Chen Shang poured the powder from the wooden box onto hell-suppressing guardians' body. This thing is called God Eclipse powder, you should. Ah! Before Chen Shang could finish his words, the hell-suppressing guardians let out a wild roar. His body was emitting mist and was being corroded. Chen Shang laughed, "Thank you for your divine soul. To be able to obtain such a powerful divine soul like yours, my injuries are worth it." He channeled his devouring magic Kung Fu and the soul-absorbing devil spell, quickly extracting the hell-suppressing guardians' soul from it, then devouring it into his own divine sense before placing it into the divine deity. Hell-suppressing guardians' body had already turned into mist and dissipated. His soul had also been swallowed by Chen Shang and had already died. In Chen Zhang's eyes, this place that punished the gods was not as scary as what the hell-suppressing guardians had said. After entering and killing the Hell Prince, he had gained the Hell Prince's divine deity and divine soul, as well as the Eagle Emperor's 3 Beast Emperors' divine souls. Furthermore, he had also obtained the hell-suppressing guardians' divine soul, so his harvest was extremely bountiful. Start to heal, then properly digest the soul that has been devoured these days. If only these souls could be moved. Chen Shang wanted to give these divine souls to Lu Meng'er and Shui Shenxian. That's not good. It's better for the soul to cultivate it itself, or to use other methods to help it grow. For example, the methods in the divine devil cult, using someone else's soul as the base of their soul is not good. Long Shui said, "Other people's soul is only suitable for cultivation." Chen Shang said, "When the divine devil cult's sect leaders' memories were searched, I know that they have cultivated the secrets of the god soul. Once I leave this damned place, I will return to the 9-heaven world and help Shenxian and the elder sister Meng'er develop their god soul. Hurry up and refine the space black iron. If you want to return to 9-heaven world, you will need to rely on the artifacts refined by the space black iron to be safe." Lu Meng'er and the other girls were busy inside the ring, understanding that the presence of so many space black iron was a huge project. If they were to do it in the divine fire forest, with Zhang Sheng's help as a divine craftsman, it would be much easier. Chen Shang started to cultivate. Since the 9 blood-colored bane stars in the sky did not make any movements, it meant that there would not be any danger for the time being. Using the heavenly alchemy to refine those divine souls should be a lot faster. When my divine soul becomes stronger, I can then refine the divine deity of the Hell Prince into my own divine deity so that my divine deity can become even stronger. Chen Shang thought. His body was extremely weak when compared to the cultivation of his soul, and looking at his current cultivation level of divine deity, plus the fact that he could cultivate Emperor Soul S in the future, he would need to have at least the jade bones to be able to balance himself. Cultivating the physical body was extremely difficult, and the quickest way was through high-level pills, such as sacred pills. Back then, the pill saint relied on eating the holy elixir to cultivate to become a powerful jade bone. Chen Shang was very confident that he would be able to obtain a powerful physical body in the future. As long as he could refine a holy elixir and find a medicinal ingredient to strengthen his body, he would definitely be able to do so. Chen Shang had divine deity. As long as he could settle down and cultivate, he could quickly refine the soul that had been devoured, and make his own soul stronger. The divine souls of Hell Prince, Dragon Emperor and Hell-suppressing guardians were all extremely strong, and were not easy to refine. Only when Chen Shang combined with his divine deity, could there be any obvious progress, and even then, it still required a period of time to complete. As he trained, he did not feel the passage of time, especially when Chen Shang was studying the heavenly alchemy and cultivating at the same time. During this time, he did not have much contact with the girl inside the Yuyao ring, nor did they disturb Chen Shang, which was why he was able to concentrate on cultivating. It had already been a year, and in this blood-colored starlight-covered punishment grounds, only Chen Shang was left. The surroundings were deathly still without any sound, but this place was filled with an extremely dense amount of life force. Even if the previously heavily injured Chen Shang didn't heal himself, he would still be able to recover quickly after lying here for a period of time. This was exactly as the hell-suppressing guardians had said, it would be extremely difficult for him to die here. I've finally finished refining those divine deity. Chen Shang opened his eyes and exhaled. There was a look of disappointment on his face. You haven't cultivated an emperor's soul? Long Shui asked. If it was like this, she could understand Chen Zhang's disappointment. Chen Shang shook his head. No, those fellows' souls can only absorb a little too little energy. The rest will turn into impurities and be refined away during refinement. The main reason is that these fellows' souls are not pure enough. Although the souls of Hell Prince and the Dragon Emperor were strong, there were too many elements of evil that could not be absorbed. Therefore, although Chen Shang had devoured a lot of the souls, although the souls were strong, only a small amount of them could be absorbed. Don't be discouraged. How can cultivating Emperor soul be so easy? In the past, the strong of Lord Stage S would at least take 10,000 years to cultivate. Long Shui comforted her. Do you need my help? Long Shui's help was to cultivate the God's Join method. Chapter 1708. I don't need it for now. This place isn't suitable for me. I should take the opportunity to copy some of the poison now. Chen Shang had used up all of his super old poison S, so he had to refine some of them just in case. It had taken him 3 months to duplicate the poison and then refine it again, and the progress of the ring was also very slow. After refining the space black iron, they had to refine it a step further to be able to raise the quality of the space black iron, otherwise the refined treasure would not be good. Chen Shang had stayed here for more than a year, but he had not encountered any danger. The 9 blood-colored Bane stars in the sky were still the same as before, lining up in a straight line without any movement. Although it was safe until now, Chen Shang was still rather worried. The only thing that made him feel at ease was that he would not die here, but from the description of the hell-suppressing guardians, he would definitely die rather than live. What are your plans now? Long Shui said. There's no danger right now. It seems that it will take a while before this place will start to circulate. You can continue to cultivate. It would be best to refine that divine deity. Chen Shang asked. If my divine deity becomes stronger, will it be of help in my cultivation of Emperor Soul? Long Shui immediately replied. Of course it's helpful. You can try if you don't believe it. You should know the benefits of having a strong divine deity in order to cultivate the divine soul. If you don't have the divine soul, do you think that you can refine those swallowed divine souls that quickly? Of course not. It's just that I feel that it's very difficult for me to cultivate an Emperor soul, unlike other people. This was not an illusion on Chen Zhang's part. Long Shui had the same feeling. Soul was already very powerful, stronger than even some of the strong of Lord Stage's Emperor souls, but his soul was still not that of an Emperor soul. Long Shui said, this is a good thing. It means that your Emperor soul will be very powerful. But don't worry too much about your Emperor soul's abilities. It should be related to refining pills and it will definitely be of help to you. Quote. MN, I will start refining the Hell Prince's divine deity now. Don't be so tired while you're inside. I still haven't thought of a way to get out of here. If it wasn't for the dangers of this place, he would have let the girls out and had them have a good chat. Chen Shang began to cultivate and refine the divine deity. Inside his divine sense C, a cauldron appeared. It was formed by him using the heavenly alchemy, and inside the furnace was a Taiji array that was filled with the composition of spirit grain. The divine deity was suspended above the Taiji array, and following the rotation of the Taiji array, the divine deity continuously released some black qi, forcing the evil consciousness inside the divine deity to come out. Hell Devil Emperor, no matter how strong you are, I will not lower my head to you. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I will let you know how powerful I am. Don't think that hiding in hell will allow you to rest easy. Quote. Determined, Chen Shang clenched his fist and the divine deity of the Hell Prince inside the divine sense C immediately shattered, turning into a sheet of sparkling and translucent light, all of it being absorbed by his own divine deity. As expected, after his divine deity absorbed the powder, it had become much more powerful. At least, he could feel that his perception towards strength was much sharper than before and was able to unleash the greater potential of his body. Previously, LV Jen had said that if he wanted to become stronger, he would have to grab it from his physical body. Only when his physical body becomes stronger would his divine deity and divine soul become stronger, and only after balancing would they be able to unleash their strongest powers. Now I'm training my fleshly body. If my physical body cannot keep up, maybe I won't be able to cultivate Emperor Soul. Every time Chen Shang devoured and refined a few divine souls, even though he felt that he had clearly improved, and always felt that he was not too far away from becoming an Emperor Soul, he was still unable to cultivate an Emperor Soul after so long. Therefore, he now decided to cultivate his fleshly body to an even stronger level. There is a spirit refinement method and a body refinement method in the heavenly alchemy. I will try it now. Chen Shang stood up, his legs slightly opening up, his fists clenched, he steadily stood on the ground, and started circulating the heavenly alchemy's body tempering manual. A circular array appeared under his legs. The mystical spirit grain that was drawn with the divine power was releasing waves of piercing gold light. Following the appearance of countless spirit grain, a red light suddenly spurted out and enveloped his body. Chen Zhang's body was wrapped up by the red light. The red light was like an air flame, constantly pulsating and coiling around Chen Zhang's body. Within the red light, there were also a lot of small spirit grains, which looked extremely strange. It was difficult to explain it clearly, but in short, it was extremely uncomfortable. The clearest feeling was that his body felt like it was being pulled, like it was melting, and his bones felt like they were cracking, but it wasn't really that painful, only a little sour and itchy, which were occasionally accompanied by a weak stinging sensation. The reason why he used the heavenly alchemy to cultivate his fleshly body was because he was constantly using up the vast amounts of God power in the divine sense sea. These God power could still be cultivated even after exhausting it, and the use of these God power did not seem to be a waste. Of course, only in this situation would he dare to use his God power to cultivate. When he used the heavenly alchemy to refine his body, the consumption of divine power was extremely fast. In merely half a day, Chen Shang already felt that his extremely robust divine power had been reduced by 80%. If this was an ordinary situation, it would be hard for him to suddenly lose so much divine power. Now he stopped cultivating and ate some immortal pills that helped him recover his spiritual power. It took him 4 hours to recover, and then he continued to cultivate his physical body. After going on like this for more than 10 days, Chen Shang felt that his body had improved significantly, but it was still rather slow. This method of cultivating the body was the fastest way to not eat high-level pellets, but it still required a lot of time. He felt that he would need at least hundreds, or even thousands, of years to see the best result. There's no other way. If I want to make my body stronger quickly, the only way is to concoct the sacred pill. It seems that I need to learn to concoct the sacred pill here. Chen Shang said. You can refine sacred animal dan and Tianlong dan. These are the herbs in your possession that can continuously evolve. Long Shui laughed. Chen Shang already knew how to refine the jadeite divine pellet for the level 7 spirit pellet, but he didn't have the materials for the next level 8 and 9, so he had never tried it. The refined ingredients for sacred animal dan and Tianlong dan could evolve. If it really wasn't possible, then using these to refine one's hands was also possible. It wasn't that good, but it could more or less be used to raise one's level. I can only give it a try. As long as I have time, I will refine a grade 8 or 9 sacred animal dan. Then, I will continuously try to refine some divine pills. Chen Shang had already planned to stay here for a while, until he could concoct the holy pellet. Refining sacred animal fruit and Tianlong dan, even if their grade had increased, it would not be too difficult to refine them. Because the refining method was always like that, the only thing that needed to be altered was the control over the temperature of the furnace, so if he kept refining the 2 pellets, it would at most allow Chen Shang to familiarize himself with the control of the fire during refining process. As long as the temperature of the fire increased, it would be beneficial to him in concocting the holy pellet. After all, he was using the heavenly alchemy when concocting pills, not the foreseeing alchemy. For foreseeing alchemy to raise his level, he would need to go through a lot of training. For example, Chen Shang only knew how to refine level 7 immortal pills. If he wanted to refine level 8 immortal pills, he would need to use the foreseeing alchemy to refine a lot of level 7 immortal pills. Furthermore, there was no need for God purification. As long as one had a certain level of experience, with a soul and flames that were strong enough, they would know how strong the flames were when refining a grade 7 celestial pellet. You have quite a lot of holy level medicinal ingredients, and some are useful to your body. If you were to use them to concoct a sacred pill, it wouldn't be a problem for you to obtain a strong physical body as soon as possible. Long Shui said. Munger, do you need to eat some high-grade immortal pills to improve your cultivation? Chen Shang asked. You can put aside the work at hand. I'm not in a hurry to get that ship anyways. I care more about your strength being raised. Let's not use that for now. Refining every day is also a form of cultivation. If you can refine a holy pellet, so what if our progress is slower? Lu Munger smiled and said, you already have a holy pellet. When the time comes, wouldn't it be even easier for us to become stronger? It's much better than training hard now. Quote. That's right, it would be even better if you had a soul by then. You should start concocting the holy elixir as soon as possible. Shui Shenxian chuckled. Sister Shui Yi gave us so many delicious things every day, it's not much worse than those immortal pills. Don't worry about me. That's good, then I'll be troubling you. Chen Zhang's heart suddenly filled with an indescribable warmth. Don't be polite with us. Dongfang Xinyue scoffed, you really don't treat us as your own people. Chen Shang chatted with the girls for a while before he started to refine the Immortal Grade 8 Sacred Animal Dan. When a level 8 Immortal Sacred Animal fruit was placed inside the Yanlong furnace, Chen Shang used the sacred flame to heat it up and began to refine it. He now had a deeper understanding of the heavenly alchemy, so he felt that it would be much easier to refine it in the future. Now, when he was refining the sacred animal Dan, he felt that it had become much simpler. In the past, if he wanted to refine the medicinal ingredients, he would need to continuously use his divine power to attack the spirit within the ingredients, and at the same time, control the powerful flames to burn them. Furthermore, after he gained a deeper understanding of the heavenly alchemy, he had improved it when he was using it. When he started refining the herbs, it was not that difficult anymore, but he needed to release a flame that had a spiritual nature. The flame was released through some methods of the heavenly alchemy, although it was only a small flame, it consumed a lot of mental strength. Right now, Chen Shang had to control the strength of the spirit fire. After finding a suitable temperature, he would be able to quickly refine the sacred animal fruit, although he needed to adjust his body a little at the beginning, but once he found the right spot, he could quickly refine the spirit fire. Chapter 1709. To Long Shui, refining the 8th or 9th grade sacred animal Dan S, they were nothing more than snacks. If he wanted to help with cultivation, he would need to obtain the holy pellet. If you can concoct a holy elixir, and it is very fast, then it will definitely be under your control. Just thinking about it made Long Shui excited, because Chen Shang had created many amazing miracles in pill refining. The number of pill saints in 9 Heaven World and the Endless Heaven Realm could be counted on one hand, but most of these pill saints lacked a large amount of holy level medicinal ingredients and their refining techniques were similar and used the cumbersome foreseeing alchemy. Chen Shang laughed. I have no intention of beating the world, I only want to refine some higher level pills, and look for higher level medicinal ingredients to make myself and the other important people around me stronger, to be able to explore everywhere. My ambition is not that big. That's true. If you can concoct so many sacred pills in the future, you will definitely find it boring to fight and kill everywhere. Long Shui thought for a while, then laughed. It's better to eat and drink until the food is good. The Yanlong furnace had always been stable, but this was the first time Chen Shang used this kind of holy level spirit fire to refine a pill. He never expected it to have such an unexpected effect. Everything is going smoothly, just like how I refined a tier 6 or 7 immortal pill. It seems like this 8-rank sacred animal Dan is very easy. Chen Shang was a little surprised. Could this be because of the sacred animal Dan? He had refined sacred animal Dan all the way here. Although refining high-level sacred animal Dan required high-level sacred animal fruit, he was very clear about its special characteristics. Adding on to the fact that he had a stable spirit fire, it was only because of this that it had gone so smoothly. I wonder how is the Tianlong Dan being refined? Chen Shang was suddenly looking forward to using this holy level spirit fire to refine the other grade 8 pills. Since the refining process was so smooth, I might as well refine a few more. Long Shui laughed and said, although it won't help me cultivate much, but this pill is very delicious, eating more won't hurt me. Chen Shang scoffed, all you know is to eat and eat all day, don't lead Shenxian and the others astray. If they were to eat all day like you did, I would be in pain. At this time, Shui Shenxian's sweet, clear, bell-like laughter rang out. Blossom Heart Big Radish, we will eat to the end of the world. Sister Shui said that you need to eat more before you can become stronger. Shenxian, don't listen to her. Her understanding of food is different from yours. Chen Shang said with a bitter face. I've raised enough greedy dragons, you guys don't have to blindly meddle in this. Serves you right. Who told you to go around stirring up trouble? You don't have that kind of ability, to have mercy on others back then. As far as I know, my future sisters might fill this place, HMPH. Shui Shenxian scoffed, in the future, ask Shui Yi to teach you more about eating. I want to see if you have the power to control so many women. Hearing Long Shui's gloating laughter, Chen Shang really wanted to pull her out, tie her up and put her in front of a pile of delicious food. If she couldn't eat it, Chen Shang would torture her to death. Actually, there's nothing to be afraid of. When the time comes, I will definitely be able to deal with it. Chen Shang suddenly became very confident, because he thought of a person who could help him in this aspect, and that person was LV Kilian. When the spirit liquid he condensed mixed with LV Kilian's spirit liquid, it would be extremely powerful, and he and LV Kilian would still be able to grow in the future. At that time, they might even be able to be even more powerful, and would be able to help him duplicate many high-grade medicinal ingredients. Alright, Chen Shang opened his pill furnace. This was an 8th-ranked sacred animal Dan, but Chen Shang did not feel much accomplishment because the difficulty of refining this sacred animal Dan was too low. I used 4 hours to refine 4 pills. He's really strong, not bad at all. If I were to put in more effort, I should be able to make a furnace out of it in just 2 hours. Long Shui tasted the 8th-class sacred animal Dan S refined by Chen Shang, and praised it endlessly. Although Long Shui liked to eat them, she was also very generous. She gave the ingredients to Kong Bailing and Pearl respectively. Following that, the Tianlong Dan S were the same as the sacred animal Dan, and everything went smoothly. In order to test the holy level spirit fire, he had repeatedly refined the Immortal Grade 8 sacred animal Dan and the Tianlong Dan. After refining dozens of them, he finally stopped. Grade 8 immortal pills are more famous than spirit consolidating pills. They are mainly used to stabilize the soul. Chen Shang sighed with his head raised. It would have been great if I could get it back then. Grade 8 immortal pills were usually eaten by Saint Immortals or Saint Lords, and at this level, one would usually focus on cultivating the soul. Moreover, there were very few people who could transform into a saint realm, and only after reaching the saint realm would they be able to cultivate the soul. At this time, a lot of attention was being paid to cultivating the soul. Therefore, grade 7 and 8 pills were extremely helpful to the soul and could be sold at an exorbitant price. Lad, you want the materials for the solidified spirit pill? Just as Chen Shang was letting out a long sigh, a voice suddenly came out, startling him. There was actually someone else inside. Who is it? Chen Shang suddenly stood up, looked around, and saw nothing. He had been here for more than a year. Although he did not encounter any danger, he still maintained his high vigilance. However, he did not discover anyone during this period of time. Don't worry, I'm a human, I won't hurt you. A chubby middle-aged man with a black bag on his shoulder walked over with a smile on his face. He looked like a martyr who was eyeing his prey. Are you human? What are you doing here? Chen Shang asked, clenching his fists tightly. He was wary of his opponent. I'm a merchant. I can bring anything the people here need. The fat middle-aged man smiled and said, my name is Peng Renyi, most people call me the benevolent and righteous husband. Chen Shang looked at his deceptive smile and muttered, no matter how I look at it, he looks like an annihilator. Why are you here? Isn't this place the god's punishment ground? Chen Shang pointed to the 9 blood-colored bane stars in the sky. Peng Renyi laughed. This was indeed a god's punishment ground in the past, but that was a long time ago. You must have been here for a while. Have you encountered any disasters? Obviously not, because the 9 stars were sealed a long time ago. Let's return to the main topic at hand. You mentioned earlier that you need the materials to concoct the solidified spirit pill, right? I can get it for you. Quote. Chen Shang said. I want to go out, can you help me? How the hell did you get in? If this place is not a god's punishment ground, then what kind of place is it? Quote. You don't need to know where this is, and you don't need to worry about not being able to leave in the future. Just stay here for a while longer and you will understand. You've been here for so long, you haven't been around, have you? Peng Renyi laughed. This place is not as scary as the guy you killed said. This place is still filled with love. Chapter 17:10. In this dark place that was shrouded in blood-red light all day, no matter how one looked at it, it didn't seem like love at all. It was more accurate to say that there were ghosts, and this fellow in front of him was full of nonsense. I just want to get out now. Chen Shang said. You are a merchant, as long as you can pay the price, you should help me get out, right? Peng Renyi smiled and nodded. It is indeed like this, as long as I can pay the price, I can help you out. However, I have stayed here for over 100,000 years and have not been able to earn enough money, so it's best that you don't think of it. With the sudden appearance of a new member, we will definitely welcome you. Quote. Chen Shang was startled. The fatty in front of him had actually stayed here for more than 100,000 years, yet he was still unable to leave. I remember that someone came in before and even went out. You're lying, Chen Shang said. The vermilion bird had come in before and had even gone out smoothly. We were surprised that she could get out. We discussed it for a few months and thought she was lucky, but you didn't have that kind of luck and neither did we. Peng Renyi said. Don't worry, this place is similar to your outside world, it's just that there are not many people here, and your devilish technique that devours others should not be used carelessly. We have a lot of love here, we do not wish to see people die, if not it will be very boring. Chen Shang curled his lips. You're already bored to death, how many people are there here? Only 500,000 yuan, right? But most of them are very powerful. With your current strength, you're only at the bottom. Peng Renyi laughed. But you don't have to worry, I won't bully you, the people here are all good. Chen Shang was in disbelief. If he's a good person, how could he be locked in this God's punishment ground? Peng Renyi shook his head and sighed. Honestly speaking, most of us are imprisoned here, this place is equivalent to a cell, only a few unlucky fellows like you can't enter and leave. We were locked in here not because they thought we were bad, but because some even worse people are worried that we would ruin their good fortune, so they threw us in. Alright, I'll believe you for now. Chen Shang felt that the fatty in front of him was not simple, his strength must be very strong, if not he would not have quietly been staring at him for over a year. Brother Renyi, if you want to go out, what do you need to do? Chen Shang still wanted to leave. Although Peng Renyi said that this place was filled with love, this kind of lifeless place made people not want to stay. You only need to get 1,000 gold coins. Peng Renyi took out 2 round coins that were faintly emitting a silver light. Chen Shang looked carefully, the surface looked very smooth, but if he looked closely, he would realize that on the smooth surface, there were very thin and fine lines, it was a kind of spirit grain that was very thin and engraved, and there were a lot of them. Peng Renyi flipped over another side, and on top of it was written the word, God. This ancient character was taught by Long Shui, and this character was also formed from a large number of complicated spirit grains, and this side also had many floating strange diagrams, which were also formed by spirit grain. Just how much energy did you put into creating this kind of coin? Was it necessary? What is the purpose of this coin? Chen Shang reached out and picked one up, looking at it carefully. This kind of coin was unlike the holy stone and immortal stones he used before, they could absorb the energy inside it to cultivate. Hee, little brother, your eyesight is quite good. You can see the power of this godly money with a single glance. If I gave you the material, would you be able to make an exact copy of it? Peng Renyi asked with a smile. No, it's too complicated. Even if I could, I would need to do it over and over again, and adding the time spent on it, I might barely be able to do it. However, I might need to consume a lot of materials, and I also need to use a lot of time to memorize all of the spirit grain. Chen Shang frowned, thinking about the complex situation that had happened, he felt a headache. Who the hell made this thing? Chen Shang felt that this person's smithing skills must be even better than Zhang Sheng's. This man is the God's realm's god of fortune, and these kinds of things were created by him. We have an old man here who took 300,000 years to make a face. Peng Renyi sighed. And if we want to go out, we can just give 1,000 of these to the penalty heavenly god, I only have around 50 of these divine money. Hearing that, Chen Shang could not help but be startled, and then he returned the divine money back to Peng Renyi. Even though Peng Renyi had been in here for more than 100,000 years, he could only get around 50 or so. This showed just how precious this type of divine money was, but he was still generous and showed it to Chen Shang. How do we do 1,000? How much money is there exactly? Chen Shang asked. If one has very little divine money, doesn't that mean that battles to steal and rob often happen? How can there be love in this place? Quote. Peng Renyi laughed out loud. When I first came in, I also felt the same way, but after this divine money drips blood, as long as it is taken away by someone, you can return it to your hands with a thought. If you are killed, the divine money will also disappear. So powerful, Chen Shang exclaimed. No wonder it's so complicated to create. An old fellow had taken 300,000 years to create one. If the other side could be created, it would take at least 300,000 years, 600,000 years to create one. Just thinking about it was terrifying. Of course, this was created by the God of Fortune. The God of Fortune in God's realm is a very powerful being. And this kind of divine money is always released and reclaimed by him. It is said that the ones responsible for making it are only a few of his disciples, and they produce quite a bit every year. Peng Renyi said, this place can be seen as the divine prison, a special place to imprison harmless people. Those who commit many evil deeds are all in hell. So that's how it is. Chen Shang looked at the 9 vain calamity stars in the sky and asked, then what do I need to buy the spirit consolidating pellets medicinal ingredients from you? I just came in, so I don't have that kind of money. Quote. You are an alchemist genius, refining the sacred animal Dan of the 8th stage of the immortal realm and the Tianlong Dan of the Tianlong Dan. That speed is shockingly fast. Although the majority of the people imprisoned here are above God's realm, they are not strong, and there are a few beasts around, so I guarantee that they will not lose out if you help me refine those sacred animal Dan. Peng Renyi said. There are 2 different ingredients for the soul consolidating pellet. The cyan jade ginseng and the palm flower. How many sacred animal danas do you need in exchange? Chen Shang asked. How about 20 sacred animal danas and 20? Peng Renyi laughed. That's very kind of you. 5 sacred animal dan, 5 Tianlong dan. Chen Shang curled his lips. My 10 pills are all grade 8 pills, and the quality is even better, yet you only need to give me 2 grade 8 immortal medicines, you have already made a huge profit. Chen Shang did not lack sacred animal danas, but he was not willing to be at a disadvantage, not to mention that his opponent was so evil. Alright, Peng Renyi laughed. I'm a businessman, so it's normal to seek higher interests for myself. Please don't mind me. I understand, I've met many people like you before. Chen Shang took out 20 sacred animal danas and 20 Tianlong danas, all from Long Shuiyi. In the future, let's work together more. My channels are wider, and if you have more medicinal pills, I can sell them for you. Peng Renyi was more satisfied with this transaction. Chen Shang asked, are all the trades here conducted by trading items? The denomination of divine money was very large. A divine money's value was very high, so the things it bought would definitely be very precious. If it was an ordinary item, then it would definitely not be just exchanging for an item. There are a lot of black holy iron here. After repeatedly forging these black holy iron, you will be able to make the same divine silver iron as the divine money. We will turn it into silver, but we usually use this kind of silver iron to trade. Peng Renyi took out a silver coin that was the size of a god's money. The only difference between this silver coin and a god's money was that there weren't any spirit grain carved on it. This kind of money is not easy to get. A level 8 immortal sacred animal Dan would need 5 of this kind of money to buy one, and one of this kind of money needs 10,000 pounds of black saint iron to create it. Some veterans need a month to make one. Peng Renyi said, I can also give the money I made to the god of fortune. After the god of fortune recovers, they can use it to refine God's money. Chen Shang started to understand. So if you want the divine money, you need to use this silver to exchange. How much do I need in exchange for a divine coin? Quote. 100 million silver taels can be exchanged for a divine coin from the god of fortune. Seeing Chen Shang was frightened, Peng Renyi laughed. Are you surprised? But let me tell you, this is how I got my 30 divine coins. Quote. 30 gold coins was exchanged for 3 billion silver coins. Just thinking about it, it was not easy. And to leave this place would require 1,000 gold coins. Chen Zhang's head suddenly hurt. It was truly difficult. Is there any black holy iron anywhere? Chen Shang asked. Why didn't I see it? That's because you haven't gone anywhere yet. The place you're at right now is very desolate and has long been excavated. Look up, the 9 stars have the weakest radiance. Peng Renyi asked. The first one, Chen Shang pointed. Right now, most of the people are on this planet. It's very big, you'll know when you go up and take a look. Peng Renyi laughed. It's best if you get used to it first before you run around. Those Bane stars are also full of danger. These Bane can actually go up. Chen Shang was very surprised. Of course, you will know once you get to the higher ups. Once you get there, everything will be normal. I'm going back now, so I'll take you up with me. If you want to fly up by yourself, it will take a long time. Quote. Peng Renyi took out a disc and stood on top of it with Chen Shang. Then, he quickly controlled the disc to rise above the ground, and it disappeared into the distance in the blink of an eye. This abandoned God's punishment land had actually been turned into a prison specially used to imprison prisoners of God's realm. Peng Renyi said that most of these prisoners were good, which made him feel that the ruling class of God's realm was not something good. And the biggest use of this place was to produce that kind of silver, and then send it to the God's realm to process it into divine money, which would circulate in the God's realm. Chapter 17:11. Chen Shang had initially thought that the 9 Bane stars were energy masses, but he never thought that they were actually real stars. Furthermore, they were extremely huge, and were currently rotating slowly on their own, emitting a blood-red colored light. Peng Renyi's disc flew extremely fast, and in an instant, was close to the first calamity fiend. Brother Peng, your magic treasure is quite powerful. If I were to fly at full speed, I would be far inferior to your flying disc. Chen Shang carefully looked at the spirit grain on the surface of the frisbee and discovered that they were all extraordinary, just like the one in the Divine Book. I'm a businessman, I often have to run around. I have something fast that will save me a lot of trouble. If you want one, I can get one for you. Peng Renyi laughed. The flying discs below my feet are worth 2 divine coins, they were given to me by others. Although it was only 2 pieces of divine money, Chen Shang knew that it was not easy to obtain divine money, hence he knew that it was a large amount. So, this thing is a godly weapon? Chen Shang asked. Of course it is. A treasure that is worth a fortune is a divine tool, but there are both good and bad. In the God's realm, there are divine tools that are worth millions of divine coins. As he spoke till here, Peng Renyi's face was filled with longing. If there was a divine tool of that level, it would be quite impressive in the God's realm. A godly weapon that was worth tens of millions. Chen Shang did not dare imagine what would happen. In short, these 2 flying discs with divine money were very powerful. How much is a blade like mine worth? Chen Shang took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. After Peng Renyi received it, he almost let go because it was too heavy. Not a bad knife. I didn't expect you to have such a good item. I think it should be worth at least 10 God's coins. Where did you come from? It is reasonable to say that this kind of divine tool should not appear outside of the divine realm. Peng Renyi was a little surprised. He looked carefully and said, there should be someone who wants 20 gold coins. In the 9 heaven world and the endless world, this green dragon demon-slain broadsword was a very powerful divine blade, but in here, it was only a little more than $20,000. On the other hand, in the God's realm, aren't divine weapons that are worth millions stronger than green dragon demon-slain broadsword by many times. Chen Shang started to admire Zhang Sheng even more. As expected of a divine artisan, without divine deity, he was actually able to refine such a powerful divine weapon. How long does $20 usually take to earn? Chen Shang asked. The rate at which ordinary people earn money. I've managed to get more than 50 of them over the course of 100,000 years. This is pretty good. If it's an ordinary person, they would need at least 100,000 years to get 20. Peng Renyi thought for a while, it's not easy to get a hold of godly money, there are a lot of people here who don't even have enough to spend. The money needs a large amount of dark saint iron to make it. Is the dark saint iron here ownerless? You can mine as you please, but won't there be a conflict or something like that? Chen Shang asked. He also wanted to try and make some money, or perhaps give it to Dongfang Xinyue and the others, as they were experts in this area. If it was only the first bane, there definitely wouldn't be any conflicts. The first bane has its rules, so you'd better stay in the first bane. The other 8 banes are not harmonious. Peng Renyi said. Chen Shang knitted his eyebrows, feeling cheated. Didn't you say before that there was love here? Peng Renyi coughed dryly a few times. I am only talking about Bane 1, I can guarantee that you will not have any trouble staying in Bane 1. As for the other Bane, it's hard to say. Damn fatty, what are you hiding from me? I feel like I'm going to be sold by you. Chen Shang glared at Peng Renyi. The frisbee had already flown into the red gas shield of Bane 1. From the air, one could see a large ocean. On land, there were many patches of green, most likely plants. Well, I do want to sell you. But don't worry, I have a good conscience. I will sell you for a good price and split half of it with you. You don't have any money. Peng Renyi patted Chen Zhang's shoulder, and laughed, am I righteous enough? Mercy, righteousness, your grandpa. Chen Shang really wanted to kick this guy out and sell him off, yet he acted so boldly, thinking that he had helped someone else out greatly. I'm leaving, I'm not selling it for you. Just as Chen Shang was about to leave, he was stopped by a hand on his shoulder. He was immediately unable to move, as Peng Renyi's strength had far surpassed his. Little brother, you don't have to worry too much. I sold you out because it's good for you. Peng Renyi's face turned serious. This is the worst and funniest reason I've ever heard. Why don't you just say that you sold me out? That was a blessing I earned from 3 lifetimes of cultivation. Chen Shang curled his lips and said. I was going to say that. Peng Renyi laughed. All right, I will tell you the truth. I will sell you to a native bank. There, I will specialize in producing silver, and I will sell you there. You just need to work there, and you won't be abused, and you will be paid for it. Peng Renyi suddenly lowered his voice. Actually, if you are nimble and can steal some money, this is a great opportunity. Even though you look like you're better at cooking, you are still quite amazing. I believe that you will be able to get a lot of money there. Chen Shang lowered his head and thought. If he could send him to a native bank, it would indeed give him a very good opportunity to get a large amount of silver. Actually, I didn't sell you out, I only recommended you to work there, and those kinds of jobs are rarely done by others, so they would give me some recommendation fees, a total of 20,000 silver coins, I'll give you 10,000. As Peng Renyi said this, he took out a storage bag and passed it to Chen Shang. Look, this is the money. Chen Shang took out a few that were shining with a silver light. Wait, didn't you say that you could only get 1 silver coin per month? If you give me 10,000, then I will need at least 10,000 months to work in that native bank. Quote. Peng Renyi said, that is only when a person uses his channeling power to search for the black sacred iron. Only when that person uses his channeling power to create one, would he need a month to do so. But the native bank is different, it is a large group of people. Then how long do I need to work in the native bank? Chen Shang really wanted to go to native bank. 10 years, and every year there will be 1,000 silvers, and every 10 years there will be 10,000 silvers. Adding on the 10,000 silvers I gave you, this will be 20,000 silvers, and after 10 years of coming here, you will be able to get your hands on 20,000 silvers. You should know that for many small fries with your strength, it's only a few dozen silver coins a year. Peng Renyi still pressed down on Chen Zhang's shoulder, not allowing him to escape. Chen Shang snorted. It requires 100 million silver to exchange for that kind of godly money. If I were to refine pills, it would be faster than going to native bank to work. Alright, I will tell you everything then. I have another reason for selling you in the native bank. I only let you participate because you are more trustworthy. I know that you are not a simple brat, or else you wouldn't have that divine blade. Peng Renyi retracted his smile, and revealed a stern expression. Chapter 17:12. Peng Renyi released his hand, and did not press down on Chen Zhang's shoulder anymore, revealing his attitude. I've said it before, you can't steal the divine money because only the master can use the divine money after it has been transferred to the blood. However, silver coins are different. Silver coins can be used. Peng Renyi chuckled. I have already arranged for people to come from the native bank. Once you enter, as long as they cooperate with me, they will help me steal a large amount of silver. Of course, you can't take too much at once. You can only take it a little at a time. Chen Shang frowned. Why are you looking for me? Are you not afraid that I will tell the master of the native bank? Quote. Peng Renyi said. I believe in my judgment of others, you are a little brat who accidentally barged in, moreover, you are in a hurry to leave, if you want to earn money quickly, you can only work with me. If you tell native bank's villa master, he won't be able to give you much. I don't know what kind of world is outside of you, but you should know very well, the masters of places like native bank are mostly miser. Quote. Chen Shang said with a look of despise. You said before that this place was a place with love, I thought it was really that harmonious. Peng Renyi chuckled. Didn't I trick you to come here? However, this Bane one is really not bad. Besides, wherever there were people, there would be darkness and rules. Wasn't this normal? The human heart is not the same, even the gods are the same. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a guy like the god of fortune. However, those guys have the strength to set the rules, so they don't have to work so hard. If there comes a day when the rules don't work out well for them, they will make new rules. Quote. Chen Shang interrupted him and said, cut the crap, tell me the specifics. If I am caught, what will happen to me? Quote. If you are caught, you will most likely be chopped off, and then beaten up and thrown out. Your little life will usually be fine. Peng Renyi laughed. Don't worry, if your hands and feet are chopped off, I will use pills to help you recover them. If I were to cooperate with you, how much would I get? Chen Shang was more worried about this. If he was to buy more pills and earn more money, he would not even bother taking this risk. Although Peng Renyi had only said that he would get his hands chopped off, he might even lose his life. This was a place where gods were locked up. With his little strength, he was just a piece of trash here. If you cooperate well, it'll cost you 1,000,000 silver a month. That is one of the 4 great native banks, and the owner of the native bank is a disciple of the god of fortune. In the end, the silver coins from the native bank will enter the god's realm and become the god's money for the god of fortune's disciple. Peng Renyi said. A month's worth of money, that gave Chen Shang a big shock. Isn't this courting death? If we were to steal the native bank opened by the God of Fortune's disciple, how can we be discovered and only have our hands chopped off? Chen Shang said in shock. Actually, the 4 great native banks were opened here by the God of Fortune's disciples, and these disciples have many other disciples, all of whom are responsible for forging God's money. The God of Fortune's entire family is the richest in the God's realm, and all of the God's money comes from here. Peng Renyi said. For example, the speed at which God's realm consumes God's money, it would cost at least 10 billion or so per year. With more and more divine money, wouldn't that mean that the divine money is getting more and more worthless? Chen Shang was curious about how the God's realm's God's money system operated. That's not true. After the divine money has circulated for a round, it will usually return to the hands of the God of Fortune, or be in the hands of other gods who are powerful enough to borrow the divine money. The majority of the divine money will also be used to make divine weapons, and the black sacred iron refined silver money is also a good material for refining divine weapons. Peng Renyi said. From this, it could be seen that in the God's realm, it was also a very complicated world, and there were words to speak with one's fist. If the God of Fortune was not powerful, then who would use the God's money that he made? In the God's realm, there are some people who, in order to obtain divine money, can mortgage their divine deity to borrow divine money to buy things. Sometimes, in order to obtain the divine deity, the native bank who lent out the divine money would send people to secretly obstruct others from earning divine money. Peng Renyi laughed. Peng Renyi started up the flying disc again, and brought Chen Shang down to the vast land below. Stealing 1 million silver a month, won't that cause any detection? Chen Shang was still a little worried. That won't happen, you'll know when the time comes. Disciples of the God of Fortune rarely come to this damn place. As long as the amount of silver that is handed in every month is enough, we will just take away the excess. Peng Renyi laughed. In the distance, there was a huge city, with a large number of tall and grand stone buildings. The city didn't have any formations protecting it, and waves of bandits' auras were emitting from time to time. There were many experts gathered inside. There are quite a few people, and it's not as few as the 500,000 you mentioned. Chen Shang said. I already said that it was a lie. God's realm is the world that first possessed life, it has existed for many years, and the people that were originally imprisoned in the divine prison were all sent here. Just in these million years, every year, there are dozens of people sent here, and there are a lot of them. Peng Renyi said. God's realm is an extremely huge world. Every year, there are many people who break the rules and get caught. Peng Renyi brought Chen Shang and entered the city. The city was very old, and the buildings there seemed to be very old and full of history, but they were extremely sturdy, and had not rotted even after so many years. Arriving at Bane number 1, he could actually see sunlight here. If it was night time, he might be able to see the sky full of stars, but he couldn't see the other 8 Bane stars that were very close to him. Do you sell Supreme Dan beads here? Chen Shang suddenly asked. No, because those who can afford it are not here, and those who can concoct the divine pellets are even more unlikely to be here. Even the weakest of the divine pellets is selling for millions of dollars. With this much divine money, we can leave a long time ago. Peng Renyi said. He had spent more than 100,000 on 50 gold coins. Where's the divine weapon? Chen Shang asked again. He was shocked by the price of the divine pills, and it was the worst kind. There must be low-grade divine weapons, usually less than 50 divine coins. However, none of the new ones are used to it and they are all second-hand. When you are used to living here, you have no choice but to sell your divine weapons in exchange for comfortable days. Peng Renyi sighed. If I had thought like that, I could have very comfortably stayed here for many years. Chen Shang really wanted to know more about the God's realm from Peng Renyi, because that was the place that he would need to conquer in the future. Old Peng, why do you say that God's realm has divine deity to sell too? What's the price? Chen Shang asked. The ones that are formed are usually around 10 million, and there are even some that are better, but the ones that are better are fewer, because those with good divine deity are all very strong. They don't need to be treated as divine money, they can be earned a lot by relying on their strength. Peng Renyi replied, what? You want to buy it? Quote. Chen Shang shook his head, then asked, if it's the Hell Devil Emperor, if he wanted to buy 4 divine deity pellets, would that be a lot of pressure on him? Peng Renyi frowned. Why are you asking about this? The news of Hell Devil Emperor's bounty for him did not come here, which made Chen Shang heave a sigh of relief. This was the God of Fortune's territory after all, and the Hell Devil Emperor did not dare offend the richest man in the God's realm. Nothing, I'm just asking. Chen Shang said. Hell Devil Emperor mainly relies on selling souls to earn divine money. 4 pieces of the cheapest divine deity is nothing to him, his wealth is only at the bottom of the list, but he still has several billion divine coins. Peng Renyi said. Right now, Chen Shang understood that these 4 divine deities were nothing to the Hell Devil Emperor. However, they could make the 9 heaven world and the top rankers of the endless heaven realm go up and down the mountain of flames to chase him down. Shouldn't the wealthiest be a pill refiner? Chen Shang asked. The divine pellets must be selling very expensive. There aren't many people that can refine divine pills on top, and most of them are people that can refine high-quality divine pills. Alchemists who know how to refine divine pills will earn a lot of money from others as well, otherwise, who would be able to afford to refine pills? Peng Renyi laughed. You aren't planning on getting rich by concocting pills, are you? Are we almost there? Chen Shang only refined pills to make himself stronger, or to exchange for more things that were useful to him. He was not interested in grasping a large amount of divine money, unless Lu Menger and the others needed divine money to refine. Peng Renyi pointed to the signature. Although it was short, it was still a huge building. It's there, called Fengshen Native Bank. Fengshen is the god of fortune's 3rd disciple. Peng Renyi said before he sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang, you'll know how exactly you need to steal the money once you get in. Someone will teach you. Just 200,000 silver. Chen Shang replied. Isn't that enough? Every year there are at least 2.5 million. 200 years is 500 million, and that's enough for 5 divine coins. 2,000 years is 50. I only managed to get 50 in 100,000 years. Peng Renyi said snappily. Little guy, you're too greedy. Chen Shang calculated that if he were to go at this speed, it would take him at least tens of thousands of years to get 1,000 gold coins. He couldn't stay here for that long. Even staying here for 100 years already made him depressed, let alone tens of thousands of years. Peng Renyi brought Chen Shang into the Fengshen Native Bank, and the person who came out to welcome him was the manager of the native bank, a tall and skinny middle-aged man. He was very familiar with Peng Renyi, and the moment the two met, they chatted for a while. The manager of the native bank looked at Chen Shang and nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, your body is very strong, he is a material for working. 10 years, 20,000 silver. Quote. The shopkeeper gave Peng Renyi 20,000 silver coins, then said to Chen Shang, lad, you just came in. Since you can come here to work, it can only be said that you are lucky, other people wouldn't be able to come even if they wanted to. Work hard for 10 years, and get to know this place well. Chapter 17:13. Chen Shang was brought underground to the Fengshen Native Bank, and below him was an extremely large silver coin workshop. After he was brought underground, he was told that he only had 1 day per month to go out, and the range could only be around the Fengshen Native Bank. There were tens of thousands of people here, the amount of silver that was produced was also very large. Chen Shang saw that on the warehouse at the side, there was a mountain of silver money waiting to be processed. This place should be the last place to be processed. There should be other places as well. I wonder how the people here will get you to work together to steal the money. Long Shui said. You must be a newcomer. Follow me. A middle-aged man walked over. Looking at his clothes, he seemed to be one of the more prestigious ones here. He sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. Did you bring this here for Peng Renyi? Did he say anything to you? Quote. Yes, he told me that when I get here, someone will teach me how to do it. Chen Shang replied. Chen Shang followed behind the middle-aged man, and said, I am the manager here, you can call me Steward Tai. Your job is to take care of the silver, and put it into the storage bag. Peng Renyi should actually have such authority in this place, to be able to easily arrange for him to do such a thing. On this matter, it was best to take away the money. But Chen Shang didn't understand one thing. If there was only Steward Tai and Peng Renyi, they would be able to split the debt 50-50 without paying him 20%. Peng Renyi brought Chen Shang into a very spacious and cruel room. Inside, there were many piles of silver coins, with many holes in the walls, and the processed silver coins came out continuously, falling into the warehouse. There was a young man here who was putting lots of money into the storage bag. You have to be careful of that person. That person was sent down by Feng Shen, don't let anyone find out about it. I will tell you the person's details. Now Chen Shang understood why Steward Tai did not do it himself. It was because if he was discovered, the consequences would be dire. If it was him, even if he got caught, Director Tai would at most just be blamed, and there wouldn't be much of a problem. Chen Shang secretly despised Peng Renyi and this steward Tai. They did not need to do anything to each of them to get 40% of the silver. These two bastards, no wonder they didn't even ask for my name. It seems that they already view me as a dead person. Chen Shang harumphed in his heart. Steward Tai patted Chen Zhang's shoulder. Do your best. If you perform well, you might be able to reach my position in the future. After Steward Tai left, the man from the Feng Shen sect walked over and handed over a basket of storage bag to Chen Shang. You don't have any storage magic treasure on you, right? Although that person asked that question, he still used an extremely sharp gaze to sweep up and down Chen Zhang's body. Without waiting for Chen Shang to reply, he nodded. As long as there were no storage magic treasure, it would be difficult for him to steal the money from here, so he was not too worried about anything else. There are 50 storage bag here, and each storage bag is worth 10 million silver. Don't count them wrong. Then, he showed Chen Shang around. Taking out the storage bag, he released his divine power and a large amount of silver coins floated up. After a while, he took out 10 million silver coins and the silver coins flew like water into the storage bag. You should know what to do now. After that, the man walked to a distant corner and laid on the couch. He didn't need to do anything now, as long as he looked at Chen Shang and didn't let him steal the money. Chen Shang laughed coldly in his heart. This way, this guy will be lazy. There's no need to do anything else. Long Shui laughed. Peng Renyi, this fatty has underestimated you. He didn't know that you have a powerful serene jade ring. This warehouse was extremely huge, with over 100 holes all around, silver coins that would fall from the ceiling at any moment to enter. There was even a huge pile of silver coins here, and the silver coins were uncounted, making it very easy for Chen Shang to steal the silver coins. Why aren't you starting? You have to finish packing these 50 bags today. The person at the corner shouted. His tone and attitude were not good, but Chen Shang did not care, because he was the one who made the biggest profit. If he really wanted to do it, he could have filled all 50 bags in one go. But now, he purposely slowed down a bit, so that he could have a good look at this place. After he had packed a bag, the man walked over and counted the silver coins inside. He nodded his head and said, you can go out and rest after packing 100 bags every day. Chen Shang spent more than 6 hours to fill 50 bags. The man was relatively satisfied, and then, he took the storage bag and left the warehouse with Chen Shang. This storehouse that stored silver coins was tightly wrapped in all sorts of barriers. Even Steward Tai didn't have the authority to open it, only the person sent by Feng Shen. Chen Shang was brought to a villa in Feng Shen Native Bank. He had a very small house here, and not long after he sat down, Steward Tai came over. This is the detailed information about that person. Take a look first, we'll discuss the details later. Steward Tai transmitted his voice to Chen Shang, but on the surface, he was asking about the work, in order to prevent others from overhearing and suspecting him. Chen Shang looked at the information of the person in charge of the warehouse, and was shocked. That person was actually a capable subordinate of one of Feng Shen's disciples, called Yu Fan, who was extremely powerful, possessing divine deity, but he was not a god yet. I don't have any storage magic treasure on me. Yu Fan had previously checked on me, and he kept a close eye on me. Chen Shang sent a sound transmission to Steward Tai. He told me that you did well, better than the others. Steward Tai laughed. Those people were also brought over by Peng Renyi previously, but they were all clumsy and were chased away by Yu Fan before they could even make a move. Right now, you have left a good impression on him. If you do a good job in the future, you will definitely be able to earn quite a bit of money. Steward Tai gave Chen Shang a storage ring and sent a sound transmission to him. This is a storage magic treasure that Peng Renyi and I have purchased at a high price. It can hide our bodies and not be discovered by Yu Fan. Chen Shang took the storage ring, and looked at the space inside it. It was a lot smaller than the ring, but it could still fit in 100 million silver coins. Take your time, we have time. Steward Tai was extremely satisfied with Chen Shang, because Chen Shang received Yu Fan's praise and could stay there to work for a long time. When Chen Shang put the ring on, he couldn't help but to admire the equipment forger who made the ring, but he couldn't believe that Yu Fan didn't see through it. You have a day each month that you can leave Feng Shen Native Bank. At that time, you can go for a walk. I believe you won't give up on the good work here, right? In order to have Chen Shang help him and Peng Renyi steal the money, Steward Tai generously gave Chen Shang 100,000 silver coins. Chapter 17:14. Chen Shang smiled and accepted the 100,000 silver coins. Although he did not know what he needed to buy, it was enough for him to buy tier 8 and 9 immortal medicines, or even holy level S and herbs. He suddenly felt that it was not a bad thing for Peng Renyi to sell him here. If you can make Yu Fan more satisfied, he might come out for you to play every day. He has been sent here for more than 50 years, but he has not had much rest. Steward Tai said. Can't you? Chen Shang asked. Of course I can, but he won't let me help him because I'm stronger. Furthermore, your cultivation is low, so he has no qualms about doing so. Steward Tai said. When Steward Tai was about to leave, Chen Shang still had a question in his heart. He thought for a moment, then asked, Steward Tai, what happened to the people that Peng Renyi asked to help Yu Fan earlier? Then they went far away. Steward Tai said with a smile, but Chen Shang knew that he was definitely silenced by him and Peng Renyi. Peng Renyi and Steward Tai were actually not worried that he would tell Yu Fan about this. Steward Tai sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. You should know that if you were to tell Yu Fan about the three of us cooperating, he would definitely be the first one to kill you. Of course, you're a smart person. You must understand that you must have made a lot of money here. Chen Shang secretly heaved a sigh of relief as he saw Steward Tai out. The pressure that Steward Tai had given him just now was too great. It could be seen that this Steward Tai was also a very strong person, similar to the arrogant wolf goddess that he had met. If he wanted to go to the silver warehouse, he still had to wait until tomorrow morning. During this period of time, he used the alive slain method's condensed spirit liquid he had bought from Peng Renyi to refine the spirit strengthening pill, green jade ginseng and palm flower. He wanted to copy some of the spirit consolidating equipment that Peng Renyi had used to concoct the spirit consolidating pill and use them as medicinal ingredients. Early in the morning the next day, Steward Tai came to find Chen Shang and bring him to the silver warehouse where Yu Fan was already staying. After Steward Tai left, Yu Fan closed the doors to the warehouse. Then, he took out a treasure and made a house made of jade. Today, I need to fill 150 storage bag. When I'm done, I will knock on my door. Yu Fan inspected Chen Zhang's body again to see if he had brought any other storage magic treasure with him. Then, he handed over a basket full of storage bags to Chen Shang. Actually, this kind of work was very simple, but it would take some time and also require a very trustworthy person to accomplish. Thus, Feng Shen could only personally send someone to supervise it, or have Feng Shen personally do it. As long as Yu Fan found someone that satisfied him, he would only need to be in charge of checking them every day. He could cultivate them any other time. Yu Fan did not know what he was doing inside, nor did he dare to investigate. He was afraid that if he was discovered by Yu Fan, he would be driven out, and at that time, he would definitely be silenced by Steward Tai and Peng Renyi. Long Shui laughed while he was inside the ring. Isn't this too easy? That Yu Fan didn't even inspect the storage magic treasure on your body more carefully and was so relaxed. Doesn't he know that there is a type of storage magic treasure that can hide? Lu Munger said. It's not that he doesn't know, but when Chen Shang entered, he passed through an invisible barrier, and that barrier was able to detect some storage magic treasure that was hidden. However, both the ring and the storage ring given by Manager Tai have not been found. Quote. Dongfang Xinyue said. The refining method of the Dark Dragon ring is very clever, it is far more powerful than the ring that Steward Tai gave him. I believe Steward Tai and Peng Renyi must have spent quite a bit of their divine money to buy this ring. Chen Shang had originally wanted to follow Steward Tai's instructions and do a good job for 1 or 2 months, but now that he saw how easy it was to get his hands on, he couldn't help himself anymore. This warehouse was a huge plaza. Silver money was piled up like a mountain, piled up all over the place. Chen Shang reckoned that there were around tens of billions of silver here, and it was still increasing every day. Chen Shang started to work. He started to place the silver into the storage bag, and while he was putting in the 70-odd storage bag, he started to make his move. When he used his divine power to cover a large amount of silver, he carefully counted out 11 million and then moved the silver over. When he was about to put it in the storage bag, he used a little trick to trick them. It seemed like he had entered the storage bag S, but in reality, he had entered the ring with 1 million silver. As a result, Yu Fan would not be able to sense it. He still had over 70 storage bag to play with. He had used this method 25 times, and he had always brought back 2 million silver taels. This way, he would be able to bring back 50 million silver taels today. A divine coin required 100 million silver to exchange for it. Today, he had obtained half of it. Lord, I'm done. Chen Shang lightly knocked on the Jade Hut's door. After Yu Fan opened the door, his divine power swept through the 150 storage bags in the basket at Chen Zhang's feet. He checked them over and over again, and when he found that there were no mistakes, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Chen Shang received the box of silver coins with a joyous expression, and immediately expressed his thanks. Of course, this was all an act. He had already gotten 50 million silver today, so he did not think much of it. From this, it could be seen that Yu Fan could use this money as he wished, but silver was of no use to him, only God's money could be used, he might not have the power to turn this money into God's money. Now, Chen Shang was sure that there was no specific amount of money in the warehouse, it was all right as long as no one else took it away from here, and only Chen Shang and Yu Fan entered. Yu Fan had no use for the money, and he was under Yu Fan's supervision, so Yu Fan was very relieved. Today, Chen Shang only used 5 hours to finish the work, and he was also able to leave early. He was not surprised by how fast Chen Shang could do so, he knew that Chen Zhang's divine strength was not weak, and would slowly get more familiar with it. Chen Shang carried a box as he walked out of the warehouse happily. All the workers who saw him along the way had a face full of projects, because they were rewards, which meant that he had at least 1,000 silvers, which was something that others could only earn after working for a month. Chen Shang was genuinely happy, because he had obtained 50 million silver coins. In the future, if he could do it well, it wouldn't even be a problem for him to get 100 million yuan a day. The production speed of the silver coins is so fast. I can accumulate that much money every day, even though I have to take a portion every day. Long Shui exclaimed, could it be that the God's realms are using divine money to cook? Lu Munger said, I think the most powerful ones should be those guys who have refined the silver into divine money. They can produce that many in one day, as expected of gods, that kind of power is not something we can imagine. All 4 native banks were making money and sending it to God's realm, but today, Fengshen Native Bank had ordered 1.5 billion. If all 4 native banks had this amount, then it would be 6 billion God's money. If there's a chance, let us see if we can get some divine money. I really want to know how effective refining with divine money is. Shui Shenxian said. Chen Shang laughed. Don't worry, I'll be able to get it soon. Returning back to the house, Steward Tai immediately came over after hearing that Chen Shang had received a reward. Maybe in the future, you will be better off than me, but I hope you remember, you are here to earn big money, even if you have a high position in the Fengshen Native Bank, you will never earn as much as when cooperating with us. Steward Tai told Chen Shang through sound transmission. Of course, Chen Shang didn't believe his nonsense. With Steward Tai's strength, he would definitely get a lot of money here. The storage ring that I gave you can only hold 120 million silver. If you can fill it up every year, we'll give you more. At first, Steward Tai and Peng Renyi only wished for Chen Shang to get 10 million silver coins every year, but now that they saw how good Yu Fan was to Chen Shang, he raised the original limit to 120 million silver coins. In this way, he and Peng Renyi could get their hands on about half a fortune in a year, which was much faster than when they were trying to find ways to earn silver. I'll do my best. Chen Shang would never tell the guy in front of him that he had earned 50 million silver today. In the future, he would have to earn so much every day. For the next 10 days or so, he would need to fill 200 bags every day, which would make it easier for Chen Shang to take away the silver coins. For this kind of thing, he did it more easily and he did not take it into consideration. Looks like you're getting more and more familiar with it. In the future, after you finish your daily work, you can go for a walk outside. I'll give you your salary, 2,000 silver coins a day. In these past few years, it was the first time Yu Fan felt so good to be sent down. He was in a good mood, giving Chen Shang a box of silver every day. Finally, he did not have to stay in the Fengshen Native Bank anymore. The moment Chen Shang walked out of the underground workshop, he immediately walked out of the native bank gate and went to the streets outside. When Chen Shang came out, he first went to the shops that sold weapons and artifacts. The few girls inside the dark jade ring were all interested in these things, and he wanted to get some for them to vent their boredom. I need to buy some refining materials. There should be a lot of things that Nine Heaven World doesn't have here. If possible, I want to buy a better crafting furnace. This way, we can refine space black iron very quickly. Lu Munger instructed Chen Shang. Well, is there anything else? Ladies and gentlemen, Chen Shang laughed. I want to eat. Long Shui laughed, as long as you have something good to eat. Elder sister Munger said it for me. Shui Shenxian said. Yu Lan, what about you? Is there anything you want? Quote. Leng Yulan thought for a while. Not at the moment, I'm not lacking anything right now. Dongfang Xinyue, Kong Bailing and the Pearl did not need anything either, but Dongfang Jing was still in closed-door cultivation, fusing with the vermilion bird inheritance fruit. Not long after Chen Shang left the Fengshen native bank, Steward Tai caught up. Fang Yu, you're not familiar with this place. Let me bring you there. Steward Tai laughed. Fang Yu was a fake name that Chen Shang had told Steward Tai and Yu Fan. It was possible that Steward Tai did not know about the Hell Devil Emperor's bounty on him, but it was possible that Yu Fan would know about it. Old brother Tai, it's great that you're here. I just need to buy something. I'm not too familiar with the market price here. Chen Shang was afraid of his shoulder. For the past 10 days, Steward Tai had been looking for him every day, and it seemed like the two of them had a good relationship. Chapter 17:15. Chen Shang didn't have a good impression of Steward Tai and Peng Renyi. If it wasn't for him being a little capable, he would definitely be in great danger here. These two people didn't even put his life in their eyes, and now that they saw how useful he was, they would only treat him so well. After Chen Shang and Steward Tai walked for a while, they had already left the vicinity of Fengshen Native Bank. At this time, Peng Renyi suddenly popped out from a corner. Peng Renyi was very concerned about Chen Shang. He was still staying in the city, and would be waiting for news from Steward Tai every day. He wanted to know if Chen Shang was competent enough for their plans, and if not, they had to kill Chen Shang as soon as possible. Now, Peng Renyi already knew that Chen Shang had done extremely well. Upon seeing Chen Shang, he said while beaming, I already said before that I had sold you out, it's for your own good. But now you have tasted the sweetness, right? Chen Shang scoffed, but in his heart, he agreed with what Peng Renyi said. Peng Renyi was right, bringing him into Fengshen Native Bank would give him great benefits, which Peng Renyi and Steward Tai did not know about. He wants to buy some things here, so you can go with him. You're quite good at this. Steward Tai handed Chen Shang over to Peng Renyi and then returned to the Fengshen Native Bank. Peng Renyi knew that Chen Shang could get a reward of over 20,000 silver every day, and with his current strength, it could be considered a pretty good income. What do you want to buy? I'm just a businessman, I can sell it to you for a cheap price. Peng Renyi patted Chen Zhang's shoulders and chuckled. Being so familiar with you, I will definitely give you a good price. The more he got to know, the more dangerous the situation became. Chen Shang did not believe that he would do this. Take me to the store here first. If it's really more expensive than your store, then I'll buy your stuff. Chen Shang smiled slightly. Merchant Peng, now is the time to check if your price is the lowest. He had experienced Chen Zhang's intelligence before, and he was still concerned about Chen Zhang's divine blade, but he was only thinking about it. He knew that in the next few years, Chen Shang would definitely help him and Steward Tai get a large amount of silver, and that would be much better than the divine blade. What do you want to buy? Peng Renyi asked. The best materials for refining a saint artifact are those that can be refined. How much silver does it usually cost? Chen Shang was not familiar with the market price here, but as an annihilator, Peng Renyi definitely knew a lot of things, so letting Peng Renyi bring him to buy things was not bad. Aren't you supposed to only forge pills? He even knows how to forge artifacts. Peng Renyi had thought that Chen Shang was going to buy medicinal ingredients for pill refining, but he never thought that it was actually for refining. I don't understand. I just want to buy it here and sell it. Chen Shang laughed. You still don't know when you'll be able to go back. Isn't it too early to think about buying and selling? Peng Renyi said. How much money do you have right now? A total of 130,000. Chen Shang said. Manager Tai had previously given Chen Shang 100,000 silvers. Peng Renyi was also aware of this matter. Peng Renyi said. There are materials to refine saint artifacts, but they are not cheap. Usually they are all based on weight. The more common ones cost 1,000 silver coins per kilogram. To Chen Shang, this was extremely cheap. What about the better ones? Chen Shang asked. Saint artifacts are generally divided into low-ranked, high-ranked, and holy-level crafting materials are also of the same kind. Low-ranked items are usually divided into low-ranked, high-ranked items, and holy-level crafting materials are usually of the same type, with the low-ranked items being of the high-ranked, high-ranked items being of the high-ranked, and high-ranked items being of the middle quality. Peng Renyi replied, What? Why don't you think it's expensive? Is it really that cheap? Chen Shang replied, Isn't it? Peng Renyi pondered for a moment. In the future, Chen Shang would be able to get 100 million silver coins every month, and at the same time, get 2 levels of 20 to 30 million silver coins. Lu Meng'er said, "For the time being, we will use them to cultivate our hands. After we become proficient in them, we will buy some good ones to refine high-grade saint artifacts." Shui Shenxian laughed. "When the time comes, refining an entire set will not be a problem. I hope everything outside is peaceful. After that, I will stay here for a while, and find some god-level materials to familiarize you with. Then, I will begin to refine the Suzaku bow and the large ship that can dodge the tracing mantra." Chen Shang said. Peng Renyi brought Chen Shang to a market. There were many stalls here, and it was a place where some people would risk their lives to obtain some heaven and earth treasures and then sell them. Chen Shang followed Peng Renyi to a place that specialized in selling stones. There were all sorts of stones, and most of them were artifact forging materials, many of them were holy level materials. In Divine Prison, resources were considered rich, if not there would not be so much black saint iron. Holy level materials were not rare here, as long as one had money, they could usually be bought, and the rarest were the god level materials. "What do you need?" Chen Shang asked Lu Meng'er, who was inside the ring. "Fire," attributed. "Although we cultivate ice and fire, we usually use fire techniques and ice to defend ourselves. If you want to forge a weapon, use the fire element. If you want to make defensive magical equipment or soft armor, use the ice attribute." Lu Meng'er said. Chen Shang came to a stop in front of a vendor's stall. There were a few fiery red rocks placed there that were steaming hot, and it was obvious that they were pretty good materials for refining the fire element of the holy level. "How much is this stone?" Although it was only the size of an apple, it was still more than 10 kilograms and contained a terrifying amount of heat. Chen Shang was sure that the fire energy being released from within must belong to the holy level. "Here is a medium-grade sacred flame stone. 2,500 silver taels for 1 catty. Here is 12 catties. If you want them, I'll sell them to you for 27,000 silver taels." The old man who set up the stall said. Chen Shang said, 2,001 catty, I will buy all of the sacred flame stones you have here. You have 50 catties of them in total, right? The old man considered for a moment before nodding. 100,000 silver taels. Chen Shang gave him 100,000 silver coins to buy the 50 kilograms of holy flaming stone. When he was refining the sacred artifact, it was already very good to add a few holy level materials. Now that he had 50 kilograms of sacred flaming stone and some other holy level materials, the divine artifact he refined would definitely be very strong. Peng Renyi laughed. "You spent 100,000 silvers all of a sudden, you only have a little now, you can't buy much anymore. Then lend me several 100,000 yuan, I'll return it to you next month." Chen Shang smiled at Peng Renyi. "Keep a low profile, you have just arrived here for a short period of time and already have over 1 million silver coins. You will definitely arouse suspicion." Peng Renyi said. He was worried that Chen Shang would have more money in the future and spend it everywhere, which would definitely attract the attention of the Fengshen native bank. Chen Shang suddenly caught a glimpse of a big piece of black stone in one of the stalls. It had a hint of spatial energy, similar to a space black iron, but he was sure that this was not a space black iron but a better material for carrying spatial energy. Chapter 17-16. Chen Shang really wanted to shake Peng Renyi off and change his appearance, so that he wouldn't be discovered by himself and by all sorts of refining materials. "Old Peng, then you help me pay first." "That's fine, right?" If Peng Renyi was not by his side, he would not even bother to cut the price. Chen Shang squatted down and touched the black rock. It was as big as a water jar, but it only weighed about 2 to 3 kilograms. "This is the materials to refine storage magic treasure, right?" Chen Shang asked. "That's right, but this is different from the ordinary materials used to refine storage magic treasure. The other materials are not allowed to enter, but this can work. This type of stone is called a dimensional divine stone. When refining storage magic treasure, add in a little, the inner storage space will be able to connect with the outside world, and it will be able to absorb life energy, and it will also be very stable." The middle-aged man that sold rocks said. "Other than that, this dimensional divine stone also has the ability to open up space. Right now, there is a dimension inside which the king's authority cannot sense outside. It's much better than the space black iron." "How much does it cost?" This was what Chen Shang needed. The boat that he was refining not only required space black iron but also a few other things. "There are 3 caddies here, the interior space is not small." Even when refining a divine artifact, with just a little bit of integration, it would allow the divine artifact to have the ability to shrink in size. As for the price, this is the material for the god level. 1 kilogram is worth more than 300,000 silvers. I will sell these 3 kilograms to you for 1 million silvers. The middle-aged man said. Peng Renyi told Chen Shang, we can buy them later. Although there aren't many of these stones, but after you have the money, you can still buy them. Chen Shang replied, help me buy it, I will return it to you anyway. Don't tell me you doubt my ability. Quote. Seeing Chen Shang being so serious, Peng Renyi could only grit his teeth and help Chen Shang buy it. Chen Shang and the others were all excited when he placed the space god stone into his ring. They wanted to start forging a divine ship right now, but they didn't have the materials for the rest yet. With this, we can forge a very large divine ship that can hide itself in a space at any time without being discovered. Lu Munger played with the dimensional divine stone. Do you need any other materials? Chen Shang asked. I'll take this opportunity and buy everything. Shui Shenxian said, it would be best to buy some god-level materials that have high resistance to attacks. That divine book has mentioned it before, the better kind would be something called a top stone. Dongfang Xinyue added, and also want to buy some divine spirit flexible iron. These are also god-level materials, and are good for refining formation plates. After Chen Shang memorized everything, he asked Peng Renyi, Old Peng, are there top stone and divine spirit flexible iron here? After Peng Renyi heard this, his body trembled. Are you really not an apothecary? Peng Renyi suspected that Chen Shang was a crazed refiner, if not he would not have missed this god-level material. Of course, didn't I already say it? I want to take some back to sell. Chen Shang said. Of course there are top stone here to sell. But do you know that top stone are different from the dimensional divine stone that you just bought, even though they are all god-level materials? Peng Renyi's face became serious, one glance was enough to tell that the top stone were not cheap. Where is it different? Chen Shang asked. Divine weapons and armor are easier to sell. And these two types of divine equipment, with just a little top stone added on, will become very sturdy and hard to destroy. Divine weapons without this item are all items below 100 god coins. Peng Renyi said. Top stone are sold by 2, 100, 1 caddy for 100, 1 caddy for 1000. There are only a few taels of silver here. Quote. Just now, Shui Shenxian said that if he wanted to get around 10 kilograms, it would require tens of thousands of god's coins. One needed trillions of silver coins. So expensive. At this time, Chen Shang already had a certain understanding of divine money, and he also knew that there were no top stone on his green dragon demon slain broadsword, maybe there wasn't even a profound WU diamond armor on his green dragon demon slain broadsword. Of course, the divine tools used to join the top stone S are even more expensive, because the top stone S are not easy to refine. Quote. Then what about the divine iron? Chen Shang asked again. This is an item used to refine array discs. It's rather cheap here, 500,000 silver per jin. It's enough to draw several array discs. Peng Renyi said. Dongfang Xinyue said. 2 taels of divine iron would be enough to pull out a building as big as a courtyard. It would be enough to draw a very strong divine formation, so I just need to buy it for a few kilograms. Under Peng Renyi's lead, Chen Shang found the divine iron, bought 4 kilograms, and spent 2 million silver coins. It should be about now. I don't have much money on me anymore. Peng Renyi knew that if he continued to hang out with Chen Shang, he would go bankrupt sooner or later. Alright, Chen Shang planned to come out and take a look after he got back. After all, this market was not going to close at night. Peng Renyi heaved a sigh of relief, then sent Chen Shang back to the Fengshen Native Bank. Not long after Chen Shang entered the Fengshen Native Bank, he came out on his own. This time, he changed his appearance. He had 1 billion silver on him, which could be considered as a small sum of money in this place. Top stone S are really good stuff. If I were to refine a divine weapon with a large amount of this inside, wouldn't it be very powerful? Chen Shang really wanted to get some top stone, but this place only had a few liang of it, he couldn't afford it. I never thought it would be so expensive. If your future divine ship were to weigh a few kilograms, you wouldn't need to be afraid of being attacked. Shui Shenxian sighed. Looks like only by going to God's realm in the future can I get it. Chen Shang wandered around the market for 4 hours, and a large amount of holy-level artifact forging materials were thrown out in that instant, all to relieve the frustration of the few artifact forging queen inside the ring. I'll go look for someone to sell medicinal herbs now. Chen Zhang's current soul was unable to level up to become an emperor's soul because his body was too weak. He urgently needed to get a holy pellet with a stronger body. Celestial pills were not very valuable here, because most of the people here were saint rulers. Only the Jupan spiritual danas were slightly more expensive. A level 8 celestial pellet could only be sold for 10 silver coins at most. Chen Shang bought a large pile of sacred animal dan and gave it to Long Shui to eat. The Jupan spiritual danas were eaten by more people, so the price was a little higher. It required 3,000 silver coins to eat one pellet, making Chen Shang very happy, because he had Jupan spiritual danas to sell for medicinal ingredients. There was also a holy pellet here, but compared to the price of the holy pellet, it was like comparing heaven and earth. Chen Shang had asked around before, the lowest quality holy pellet could be sold here for 50 million silver coins. There weren't many holy elixirs here, and there were almost no saints who could refine holy elixirs. Even in God's realm, saints who could refine holy elixirs were very respected, and normally wouldn't be sent to divine prison. The sacred pills here were brought by people who could travel back and forth from the God's realm such as Yu Fan. Furthermore, some of them carried sacred pills and were sent to the divine prison to be sold here for money. If I can refine a sacred pill, I will earn money as quickly as I earned it. Chen Shang was very confident in himself. Even if there weren't any holy level medicinal herbs here, he would still be able to rely on the ones he had collected in the past to make copies. I think it's better to get it from the warehouse. Long Shui laughed. Of course, I need to take a little more and exchange it for some divine money. It might be useful in the future when I go to God's realm. Chen Shang felt that he could earn a lot of money here easily. If he could get 100 million silver coins every day, it would be equivalent to earning a lot of money. Chen Shang came to a shop that specialized in producing treasures and weapons. The moment he entered, he saw a few small cauldrons placed behind the shopkeeper. He had heard that these stores had a cauldron that could quickly refine ingredients. Most of the time, when he started to earn money, he would have to look for the black holy metal for himself to create it. It was very tiring, and when he saved up some money later on, he could buy a cauldron to assist in the production of silver. The cauldrons that Chen Shang had seen had this function. Which of these cauldrons are good? Chen Shang asked. He did not buy it to make money, but to refine space black iron out of a lot of stones. This would reduce the workload for Shui Shenxian and the others, and not to work so hard. This is for the best. As long as you have enough flames to pour into it, the interior will be able to automatically refine it, and you will be able to quickly refine black sacred iron or other holy level materials. The shopkeeper took out a small silver cauldron. The black saint iron here was also mixed with many stones, and it needed to be refined in order to obtain the purest black saint iron. With the help of these cauldrons, it could be refined even faster. How fast can it be? Chen Shang asked. You can put in 1,000,000 jin of miscellaneous stones at one go. It'll be done in a moment. Not only can it be used for refining, but it can also be used to forge a furnace. This is a divine furnace. The manager said. How much is it? Was already moved. 500 kilograms each time would allow him to refine 10 kilograms of space black iron. If it was Lu Munger and the others who used the furnace he had brought along, they wouldn't be able to do it so quickly. Refining that divine vessel would require them to be at least 50,000 kilograms of space black iron. This, 5 gold coins, you can use it if you want. 500 million, the manager said. This cauldron is a divine tool and it does have this value. Chen Shang took out a few storage bags and handed them over to the shopkeeper. Count them out, Chen Shang said. The shopkeeper finished counting very quickly, then he handed the silver cauldron over to Chen Shang while chuckling. The shopkeeper liked customers that didn't have a bargaining price. Of course, there weren't many people who could afford 500 million so easily. Chen Shang felt that this silver was too easy to come by, so he wasn't that rare. He would be back in a few days anyway. What's more, the things that he bought were all very useful. When he returned to the Fengshen Native Bank, Steward Tai was waiting for him outside Chen Zhang's residence. What's going on? Chen Shang saw that Steward Tai's expression was unnatural and asked anxiously. During this period of time, you have to be careful. Fengshen's disciple is coming here, so you had better take off the ring. Steward Tai told Chen Shang through sound transmission. Chapter 17:17. Hell Devil Emperor was also a god, and a rather famous one as well. However, because he was in charge of hell, he gave off a very bad impression. Although Chen Shang and Hell Devil Emperor had never met him, they were enemies. Chen Shang was worried that the Hell Devil Emperor would hand over 4 divine deities, and was worried that this matter would spread to God's realm, and his appearance would be known by the Hell Devil Emperor as well. Right now, Feng Shen's disciple had come to this place, causing him to worry. Furthermore, the fellow who came this time was a genuine god. He was extremely powerful, much stronger than the arrogant wolf god who had been suppressed in hell for many years. This Feng Shen's disciple is called Tian Hao. He is a little god in the god's realm and is not very strong in the god's realm, but he is a very terrifying guy to us. At that time, you must be extremely careful, and it would be best for you to be able to control your own thoughts. Steward Tai warned Chen Shang. Chen Shang nodded with a serious face. He was also extremely worried for the little god called Tian Hao. On the second day, Chen Shang arrived at the entrance of the silver warehouse very early. Today, he arrived earlier than Yu Fan, so when Yu Fan arrived, he was very satisfied. Tomorrow, my master will come. When that happens, you have to be careful not to speak too much. Yu Fan said. Chen Shang nodded. 200 bags today. After Yu Fan opened the door to the warehouse and entered, he gave Chen Shang some storage bags. Yu Fan thought for a bit, then gave Chen Shang another basket of storage bag, and said, get another 200 bags, and get the ones for tomorrow as well. My master is coming over tomorrow, and I can entertain him when the time comes. Chen Shang was overjoyed. To be able to prevent him from seeing the Tian Hao, that was what he wished for. Alright, Chen Shang immediately started his construction. Just like before, he took out a small jade hut and went inside to cultivate. Yesterday, I lost a lot of blood and bought a divine furnace. I spent over 500 million silver coins to make up for it today. Chen Shang was secretly happy. It had only been one night, but the amount of silver here had increased by a lot, and the holes above would always drop silver coins. Chen Shang did not show mercy. He was also a little worried that Tian Hao would see through his identity and not have a chance in the future. He had the courage from a dozen or so days ago, but now, when Chen Shang casually took away the silver, it was extremely crazy. When he finished his work, he received 1.5 billion yuan. Now that he had 2 billion yuan, he was very satisfied. However, Yu Fan did not look at it too much. He received Chen Zhang's storage bag and walked out of the warehouse with a frown. He did not even give Chen Shang any money. Today, 400 bags were equivalent to 4 billion silver coins. It was normal for them to be empty all of a sudden, but Yu Fan did not suspect anything. This fellow is definitely at a bottleneck, and is in a bad mood. However, his teacher should be able to guide him when he comes tomorrow. Long Shui laughed, you can go around leisurely tomorrow. Chen Shang snorted. Easy on you head, I still need to concoct pills. As long as I can concoct the holy pellet, I can openly earn money. Lu Munger said, if you were to sell a large amount of holy pellets here, it would definitely attract the attention of the god's realm. I'm not afraid, I'll just change my appearance. By the way, how are you doing? Is that stove working? But it took me 500 million silver. Chen Shang asked. The progress is very smooth, and before long, the space black iron can be refined. Leng Yulan said, it's pretty fun. Brother, you better think of a way to get some top stone, and get as many as you have. Otherwise, who knows when you can start refining. Quote. Dongfang Xinyue replied, actually, there's no need to rush. Hell Devil Emperor's hands can't reach out here, and our smithing level also needs to be improved. We can first settle with the high-grade saint artifact, and then, we can refine some of the more common divine weapons. Shui Shenxian nodded. When we are completely confident, we can start refining the divine vessel. Those ingredients are all very precious. If we fail, we will lose a lot of them. If we were to succeed in refining the divine vessel, we can pretty much start to refine the Suzaku bow, and at that time, you will be able to gather the 4 symbols divine weapons. Quote. Alright, I'll train hard myself. When I have enough strength, I'll be able to control the powerful divine weapons. Once the 4 symbols divine weapons is gathered, they will definitely become a lot more powerful, just that I don't know what will happen next. Chen Shang was very much looking forward to this. He returned to his room and set up a barrier around his room. He then started to refine a Tier 8 Immortal Consolidating Equipment pill. Once it was completed, he could buy Jupan Spiritual Dan's herbs. He was getting closer and closer to the holy elixir. Refining the solidified spirit pill was not as simple as refining Tianlong Dan and Sacred Animal Dan. It was a lot more difficult. Chen Zhang's time was rather tight, because he had to go to the warehouse every day to work. Unlike the past, he could not continuously cultivate and refine pellets in seclusion, so he was very careful when concocting the soul-consolidating pellet. He had been refining for a full 5 hours. For him to have been so cautious in concocting pills for so long, it was normal for him to succeed. However, this time, he failed. What's going on? Chen Shang opened the furnace and took a deep breath, discovering that the medicine aura were in the wrong. That bastard Peng Renyi, there's a problem with the medicinal ingredients he sold to me. Chen Shang was secretly furious in his heart. If not for the problems with these medicinal ingredients, he might have been able to succeed. Chen Shang took out the other medicinal ingredients that he had copied. After an hour of examination, he discovered that there was one that was not good. These were the first 2 medicinal ingredients that he had copied. There's something inside. Chen Shang frowned. What exactly is this thing? After studying it for more than 2 hours, he realized that the spiritual energy contained within was very strange. This guy. Chen Shang became even angrier. Does he want to use this kind of mental power to control me? Long Shui said. It's very possible, even though this guy is laughing all day, he's not any good person. You have to be careful of him, even Steward Tai is better than him. I know. Chen Shang carefully examined the other medicinal herbs, but he did not find any other problems. If it was refined using the foreseeing alchemy, it would most likely succeed. I just don't know what would happen if I eat it. Chen Shang snorted. This guy probably doesn't think that I will be able to refine it either, but he still keeps it in mind and added a few more things inside. If by any chance I succeed, after eating it, I'll be at his mercy. Chapter 17-18. At first, Peng Renyi gave Chen Shang a good impression that he trusted him completely, but now, his good impression of Peng Renyi was completely ruined. If there's a chance in the future, I must let him see my power. Chen Shang continued to refine pills. The day of leave that Yu Fan gave him was about to pass. He needed to hurry and get used to the time. If he could concoct this soul-consolidating pellet, and get familiar with it, he could become a Jupan spiritual Dan and then reach the holy pellet. In the early morning, when there were many chirping birds outside the small house, Chen Shang opened the door and stood inside the small yard to take a deep breath of the morning fresh air. Although he was able to successfully refine the spirit-strengthening pill, the ingredients used were all made using Peng Renyi's copies, so he did not dare to eat them. Chen Shang came to the silver warehouse very early today, but that Yu Fan had arrived even earlier. When he reached the door, he saw Steward Tai giving him a meaningful glance from afar. He immediately understood that Tian Hao was in the warehouse. He hurriedly took off the storage ring that Steward Tai had given him and placed it inside the ring. As for the ring, he didn't know where to hide it, as he had a feeling that it would be discovered as well. Put it in the Divine Sense Sea. Although your Divine Sense Sea is just in spirit, but it can be placed into divine deity, spirit, or even a sacred pill. The Dark Dragon ring can also be placed there, however, it can't be placed there for too long, or else the ring will become unstable, and we will be in danger. Long Shui said. Chen Shang immediately followed Long Shui's instructions. With a thought, he controlled the ring to enter his Divine Sense Sea. This technique was indeed effective. He could clearly feel the invisible ring disappeared from his finger. Only then did he walk into the warehouse with a sense of relief. Yu Fan was already inside, and there was a tall and skinny middle-aged man standing beside Yu Fan. He looked very ordinary, but gave Chen Shang a very strong pressure, causing Chen Shang to be secretly alarmed. In his view, the person in front of him was much stronger than the arrogant wolf god. Previously, Steward Tai had told him that Tian Hao was a true god and that Chen Zhang's concept of strength was only on the level of arrogant wolf god. But now that he had experienced the power of this kind of god, he truly believed that he could be easily crushed to death at any time. Greetings, my lords. Chen Shang hurriedly bowed. He was extremely nervous in his heart. It was all because of the formless pressure that came from Tian Hao's body. Yu Fan and Tian Hao both nodded. Their master and disciple pair were the same. They never had any other expression, just an indifferent expression, seemingly very cold. However, Chen Shang felt that this was related to their cultivation technique. This is today's mission. Yu Fan had given Chen Shang 100 storage bag, so there weren't many today's matters. Chen Shang took the storage bag and walked over to the side of a piece of silver. Right now, even if he was given 100 guts, he wouldn't dare to play tricks in front of a god. He knew that Yu Fan being placed here was not a good job, but this was also not something he could decide. Yu Fan being able to find a decent person to complete these boring jobs for him and take the time to cultivate was not bad. Master, you should head back earlier. I'm doing pretty well here, so you don't have to worry about me. Yu Fan said. Tian Hao sighed. Hell Devil Emperor is really too lawless. They actually came here to arrest him. I don't know what he's planning to do to this place. You must be careful not to come into conflict with him. Only the founder of the God of Fortune can deal with this fellow. However, if it isn't anything major, the God of Fortune won't do anything about it. Yu Fan understood Tian Hao's meaning. If he were to be bullied by the Hell Devil Emperor here, he could not do anything, unless he was killed. At that time, should we help the Hell Devil Emperor capture him? So that he can leave as soon as possible? Yu Fan asked. No need, because Hell Devil Emperor is in charge of this terrible mess called Hell. Many big shots gave him face. Otherwise, if they brought down the Hell Devil Emperor, someone would have to go to Hell to take over the job. As long as Hell Devil Emperor does not go overboard, no one will say anything about him. Tian Hao said. When Chen Shang heard this, he was extremely shocked. Hell Devil Emperor actually had a way to come here. Hell Devil Emperor was unable to enter the 9 Heaven World S and Endless Heaven Realm S. If he were to personally go there, then it would be against the rules set down by the God's Realm S. However, entering the Divine Prison was different, he would not break any rules here. What kind of fella provoked the Hell Devil Emperor? To actually let the Hell Devil Emperor spend so much, bribe the penalty Heavenly God, and then personally come here to arrest him. Yu Fan sighed. This divine prison had been quiet for so long, it was finally going to be lively. Tian Hao said, Hell Devil Emperor will not come personally. It would be too much of a burden for a god with his strength to come here and capture someone. However, he can send subordinates over. Those subordinates of his are all very strong. Chen Shang was very nervous just now, but he was much more at ease now. As long as the Hell Devil Emperor did not personally come, he would be much safer. At that time, no matter what request the people of the Hell Devil Emperor make, or what conditions they have, we must never agree to help them capture others. My master had instructed me before, he must not care about the other native bank S, and the people of the Feng Shen native bank definitely cannot have anything to do with them. Tian Hao warned Yu Fan very seriously. Right now, the Feng Shen native bank was being managed by Yu Fan. Yu Fan repeatedly nodded his head. I also know that there was a conflict between Master and Hell Devil Emperor, I will definitely remember it. Tian Hao's master was Feng Shen, also known as Yu Fan's Grand Master. Chen Shang laughed in his heart. He was staying in the Feng Shen native bank right now, so if the Hell Devil Emperor wanted them to hand over the person, would they hand it over or not? Tian Hao said, this is not because of the conflict between Master and Hell Devil Emperor. There are other factors. The main reason was that the Hell Devil Emperor was not popular. Although he cleaned up this mess of hell very well, he had also used hell to rapidly increase his own strength. Right now, the gods are worried that one day, he has enough power to command the gods' realm. Quote. Yu Fan frowned, could it be that the gods have already planned to make their move against him? Tian Hao said, it's only a part of my consciousness. Even I don't know much about this sort of thing. In short, Master had warned us not to get involved with the Hell Devil Emperor at all, or else those who are on good terms with the Hell Devil Emperor will be punished. Chen Shang did not expect that the God's realm was also in a mess. The Hell Devil Emperor has sent someone. The guy who has come is definitely the regular army of the Hell Devil Emperor, and is different from this kind of guy. Although the Hell Devil Emperor did not come, Chen Shang still felt a lot of pressure. Although the Hell Devil Emperor's territory was only in the infernal realm, the God's realm definitely had its subordinates. It might not even be able to cultivate evil powers, so it would be even more difficult for him to deal with them. If only I could get rid of Hell Devil Emperor's tracing mantra faster. With Chen Shang here, he couldn't use the power of the spatial laws at all. If it was the past, he could still hide in the tyrannical space to hide, but now it was no longer possible. Could it be that the reason the Hell Devil Emperor sent out his son, arrogant wolf god, and hell-suppressing guardians was to force me into this divine prison? To me, this divine prison is a hopeless situation. Chen Shang thought about it carefully and suddenly felt terrified. When the Hell Devil troop appeared outside of the Life Forest earlier, it made him feel that the Hell Devil Emperor was doing something to stop him from entering the depths of the Life Forest. Then, the Hell Prince appeared again. If that was all, then this Hell Devil Emperor had sacrificed a lot, and all of this was to make him look like a turtle in a jar in this desperate situation. Hell Devil Emperor had used his divine deity to reward him for so long, but he still could not catch him. At that time, many people thought that Hell Devil Emperor did not have any other methods. But now, the Hell Devil Emperor had schemed against him bit by bit, allowing him to enter the divine prison. As expected, this Hell Devil Emperor is not simple. I have nowhere to go. Chen Shang began to think of a way to deal with the Hell Devil Emperor chasing after him. Divine prison was not big, he had nowhere to hide. Tian Hao came here from the God's realm to tell Yu Fan about this. After Tian Hao left, Yu Fan immediately went into the jade hut to cultivate. Right now, Chen Shang did not have the mood to take the money away, because a huge crisis was about to befall upon him. Once his identity was exposed, he would not be able to work here either. Looks like I have to think of something tonight. Chen Shang quickly finished his work. After he sent Steward Tai away, he laid on his bed and thought carefully about how to deal with Hell Devil Emperor's chase and killing. Originally, he thought that he would be safe once he came to this place, but he never thought that Hell Devil Emperor would have the ability to send his power here. Looks like I have to hurry up and leave this place. I need to get 1,000 gold coins as soon as possible. As long as he could return to the Endless Heaven Realm or the Nine Heaven World, using the power of space, there would be impossible for the Hell Devil Emperor to catch him. But here, his power of space had lost its effectiveness and he wouldn't even be able to escape. Long Shui replied, "Isn't divine deity worth a lot? If you can get a divine deity here, sell it on your own hands, and don't ask for much divine money, just enough to buy 1,000. Quote. Divine deity were extremely expensive, even the formed divine deity that were relatively inferior were all sold off at a very high price. If he has divine deity, it would be best to buy a Yu Fan. Because he is connected to the God's realm, he should also have some divine money on him." Chen Shang said, this was the only way to quickly obtain the divine money, but the prerequisite was that he had to obtain a set of divine deity. Peng Renyi, Chen Shang and Long Shui thought of this black-hearted fatty at the same time. Peng Renyi definitely had his divine deity, but his strength was very strong and he was also very smart, it was not easy to kill him. I wonder when the people from the Hell Devil Emperor will come. Hopefully they won't be that fast, because that way, I would have enough time. Chen Zhang's plan to stay in the divine prison for the long term had failed. He had to come up with a new plan to escape. Chapter 17-19, Chen Shang worked as usual. Without the little god, Tian Hao, watching over him, he once again took out his silver coins. He knew from Steward Tai that in 1 month's time, the Fengshen Native Bank would implement even stricter management. He guessed that it was very likely that it was to deal with the people that the Hell Devil Emperor had sent, which meant that he still had a month's time. If I can get enough silver from the warehouse this month, I won't have to think of anything else. Chen Shang had more than 2 billion silver now, which was equivalent to 20 gold coins. If he wanted to collect 1,000 silver coins within a month, he would need to gather at least 30 silver coins every day. With things having progressed to this point, Chen Shang could only wait until 1 month later before making any plans. In any case, the people from the Hell Devil Emperor had not come yet, so he could only stay here peacefully. When the time comes, I'll have to sell the holy fruit. The sacred fruit should be quite valuable here. After Chen Shang finished working, he went to the top of the street to find out the price of the holy level's medicinal herbs. My green dragon demon slain broadsword should not be just rich, Peng Renyi must have intentionally lowered the price. Of course, Chen Shang didn't want to sell the green dragon demon slain broadsword, he just felt that Peng Renyi was really too much of a bastard. On the surface, he looked like he was doing well, but after thinking about it carefully, he was actually scheming against him. The holy level herbs here were relatively valuable, but they could only be sold for tens of millions of silver, unless they were high-grade holy level herbs. Chen Zhang's current grasp of the holy level's medicinal ingredients were all of the lowest quality, but this gave him an additional method of earning silver. Looks like I have to take the risk in the future. Chen Shang decided to take some extra silver from the warehouse every day. Maybe he would be able to gather enough after a month. After finishing his daily work, he did not have the spare time to idle around either as he was condensing the spirit liquid. If it's just holy level medicinal herbs, the price would definitely be very low. But if it's god level, then the worst kind of god level medicinal herbs can be sold for a pretty good price. Chen Shang looked at the fiery red pearl. This was the fruit core of the earthly fruit. After confirming with him, the earthly fruit was a genuine divine fruit, only that it was one of the weaker ones among the god-level medicinal ingredients. Right now, he did not know what the price was, but as long as he could get it out, he would definitely be able to find a good buyer and make a huge profit. Hell Devil Emperor, don't think that I have nowhere to go. We'll see. Chen Shang racked his brain, and finally thought of a few ways to help him earn money. If he was given a little more time, he wouldn't be so nervous. 20 days had passed, and Chen Shang had taken a total of 30 billion silver from the warehouse. Furthermore, he had used his work time to run around and exchange it for God's money. In such a short period of time, the amount of divine money he had could be said to be incredibly fast. Many people had stayed here for hundreds of thousands of years, but they still couldn't obtain as much. Of course, this was all thanks to the underground palace that made the money. Although he already had quite a bit of godly money, he was still far from 1,000. Just as he finished his work, Chen Shang was already on the streets when he suddenly saw a portrait on the wall. That was a bounty order for him, a total of $30,000. To Hell Devil Emperor, 30,000 was simply a drop in the bucket. Previously, when Hell Devil Emperor had placed a bounty on Chen Shang, 4 divine deities would be considered a big deal, but one divine deity was able to sell for a very high price. Compared to the 4 divine deities, 30,000 god coins was nothing. But here, 30,000 gold coins was enough for 30 experts to form a small team to deal with him. The other requirement of the bounty token was to capture them alive. This could be a bit difficult. I was too careless. If I had changed my appearance back then, I wouldn't have had such a headache right now. Chen Shang regretted that he did not change his appearance when he first entered this place. He had to use his original appearance until now, otherwise, he wouldn't have worried. He originally thought that it would take a month, but now, he was actually 10 days ahead of schedule. Now, he couldn't return to the Fengshen native bank. 30,000 was not a small amount of money. The people who were imprisoned in this place had to spend their entire lives trying to gather enough money to pay $1,000 to leave this place. Maybe only people of Yu Fan's level would not be interested in this godly money, but it was hard to say for Peng Renyi and Steward Tai, especially Peng Renyi, who believed that he was definitely looking for him everywhere right now. When Chen Shang saw the portrait showing him the bounty, he immediately changed his appearance. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, he saw Yu Fan standing behind him. Yu Fan looked at his eyes, then looked at the portrait that was bounty on his head. Then, she sent a sound transmission to him, "I know you're Chen Shang. Lord Yu, you probably won't come and capture me for the $30,000, right?" Chen Shang replied. "If it's for divine deities, I will consider it. However, if I really want to capture you for 4 divine deities, I fear that I will be expelled from the sect. Follow me." Yu Fan turned and walked towards the Fengshen native bank. Chen Shang had previously heard Yu Fan and his master Tian Hao's conversation. Fengshen and Hell Devil Emperor had a grudge, so Yu Fan definitely did not dare to help Hell Devil Emperor catch someone. Many people in the Fengshen native bank knew Chen Shang, and Steward Tai was currently with Peng Renyi, searching for him everywhere. However, he did not know that Chen Shang had already followed him back to the Fengshen native bank. Yu Fan's residence was at the most peaceful place in Fengshen native bank. Chen Shang sat opposite to him and watched him quietly drink his tea. "Lord Yu," Chen Shang wanted to speak, but was cut off by a wave of Yu Fan's hand. "I know your situation, actually, you've been going to the warehouse for money recently, right?" The usually cold Yu Fan smiled at Chen Shang, but his smile was not very ugly. When Chen Shang exchanged the silver for the divine money, he changed his appearance. He was sure that no one would know, even if Yu Fan found out that he had stolen some silver from the warehouse, they would not know how much it was. "I'm sorry, I was forced to leave this place in a hurry." Chen Shang sighed. Yu Fan was not stupid. He knew that the last time Chen Shang heard him and Tian Hao's conversation at the warehouse, he knew that Hell Devil Emperor would come here. "It doesn't matter how much you take from the warehouse. I don't like the money at all," Yu Fan said indifferently. He looked at Chen Shang with a scrutinizing gaze. "Hell Devil Emperor once used 4 divine deities to offer you a bounty, but after you ran to this place, he cancelled the bounty and now, with the price of 30,000 gold, a large number of experts can move out." This made Chen Shang feel that the Hell Devil Emperor was trying to force him to enter this divine prison. "Chen Shang, do you know why a god of Hell Devil Emperor would want to kill you?" Yu Fan asked. Chapter 1720. Chen Shang shook his head, but he had a guess in his heart. Yu Fan said, "My master told me it was mainly because you have cultivated the heavenly alchemy." This was just like Chen Shang had guessed, and was indeed because of the heavenly alchemy. Previously, the White Tiger had warned him to not reveal the heavenly alchemy, but later on he was unable to control himself and it was revealed. Back then, when Qi Shi received such a blow from the Hell Devil Emperor, it was also because of this heavenly alchemy. I don't understand. Isn't it just a cultivation technique? Why is Hell Devil Emperor so nervous? My cultivation technique shouldn't be able to threaten him, right? Chen Shang said. This is not because you can threaten him, but because he hopes to obtain the heavenly alchemy, or hopes that there will be a second person training in it. This heavenly alchemy is a very valuable technique even in the God's realm. Yu Fan said, if Hell Devil Emperor gets his hands on the heavenly alchemy, he can use it to manage hell and refine all of the evil soul in hell into pellets for him to eat. That's right, using the heavenly alchemy is indeed very easy, especially when you're cultivating to a high level. Chen Shang nodded. Before, he caught a guy who also trained in the heavenly alchemy, but he didn't manage to get it. In the end, that guy's soul dispersed in hell, and when he found out that you also cultivated the heavenly alchemy, he set his eyes on you. If you die, according to the number of people you kill, you will definitely go to hell. Once you reach there, you will be at the mercy of the Hell Devil Emperor. The guy Yu Fan was talking about was Qi Shi. Chen Shang thought for a while, then continued to ask, then how did the heavenly alchemy come to be passed down from the God's realm? Yu Fan shook his head. I also want to know how the grimoire of this kind of God's realm could spread to such a place. Then, in the past in God's realm, have any powerful people ever cultivated this heavenly alchemy before? Chen Shang asked again. There's only one guy, but there's no news of him since many years ago. I don't know what he does either, I only know that he knows about heavenly alchemy. Chen Shang suspected that the divine deity he had fused with belonged to that person. Both the heaven-earth killing method and the heavenly alchemy were from that person's divine deity. Lord Yu, the reason you brought me here wasn't because of this, right? Although Yu Fan looked cold, but right now, Chen Shang didn't feel any kind of hostility from him. The feeling he gave others was much more reliable than people like Steward Tai and Peng Renyi. That's right, I have some things that I want to discuss with you, but don't worry, I will get you to pass on the heavenly alchemy to me. Cultivating this heavenly alchemy will cause my death. Yu Fan said. I'm not worth your attention. I just want to get out of here as soon as possible. Chen Zhang's face was full of worry. I just want you to do something for me. When the time comes, I'll give you 1,000 gold coins or even more. Yu Fan smiled slightly. What can I help you with? Count the silver coins. Chen Shang laughed at himself. You should know that the God of Fortune is my Grand Master. I've been learning the art of making God's money from my master, but it's not that easy to learn. Even my master's daily production is pitifully low. Yu Fan said. Then why does it need so much money every day? Chen Shang asked. Feng Shen is my master, but I've never seen him before. My master has already taken him as his master for more than 100,000 years, but we haven't been together for a total of 10 days. Hearing Yu Fan say that, Chen Shang immediately understood, Feng Shen had a lot of disciples. How many disciples does Feng Shen have? Chen Shang asked. I don't know. In short, there are many disciples and juniors. Only those who stand out will be recognized by Feng Shen. Those who become famous next to him will be able to learn even more. Feng Shen's disciple, his daily task is to refine the divine money and hand it over to Feng Shen. In the end, Feng Shen will also give a portion of the divine money to the founder. Yu Fan looked at Chen Shang. I was sent down, and am quite unlucky, distance myself from my fellow apprentices, there is no learning atmosphere, if I were to encounter any problems, I will have to solve them myself. If this goes on, I will only fall behind my other fellow apprentices. Chen Shang nodded his head. I understand, but why are you telling me all this? Yu Fan said, I need a large amount of divine money. With a large amount of divine money, I can make up for the gap between me and others. You want me to help you get a lot of money? Would you like to use the silver from the warehouse to exchange for it? Chen Shang thought about it, and felt that this was the only way he could help Yu Fan. Yu Fan shook his head. That's too little, how much money can the warehouse exchange for it? Hundreds of thousands, several million, that's not enough money. Quote. The corner of Chen Zhang's eyes twitched. Then what do you want? Tens of millions, or hundreds of millions? Quote. Hundreds of millions. Yu Fan smirked, he seemed to be very ambitious. Chen Shang had never stayed in the God's realm before, but he knew that even with a few 100 million, there would still be a large sum there. After taking in a deep breath, Chen Shang asked, "How do you want me to help you?" Since Yu Fan had a talk with him, it meant that he could help Yu Fan get that much divine money. Selling divine deity, Yu Fan said. "I have been sent down, but I cannot kill anyone here. If I am discovered, even if the god of fortune appears, he will not be able to save me." Chen Shang immediately understood. "You want me to kill someone and hand over the divine deity to you so that you can sell it when you return to the god's realm? Right. Quote. Yes, I can't kill you here, but you can. Furthermore, no one will know that you were helping me kill someone to retrieve divine deity, and everyone will only know that you were being hunted down. Furthermore, you have already left the Fengshen native bank." Yu Fan replied. "Don't worry, I won't treat you unfairly." Chen Shang was still a little confused. How much money can a single divine deity sell for in the god's realm? I heard that ordinary ones can sell for tens of millions of dollars. Quote. 10 million is my previous price. Now that I have one of the worst-shaped divine deity, it's worth 20 million spirit stones. All you need to do is help me get 20 pieces of divine deity." Yu Fan said. "Since it's so profitable to sell divine deity, then why didn't you kill people in the god's realm to retrieve your divine deity? That is to say, isn't there a lot of people above God's realm who would do this kind of thing?" Chen Shang suddenly felt that selling divine deity was also quite profitable. Yu Fan shook his head. "That's where you're wrong. As long as you're in the god's realm, those who have cultivated divine deity, they would normally join a shrine, and be loyal to a god. They would establish a very mysterious connection with the divine hall. As long as this person died and their divine deity were taken away, the divine hall would know, and then, they would pursue and kill the person who wielded the divine deity. If it was a bit more serious, the gods in the shrine would personally attack." Quote. So, in the god's realm, there are very few cases of people hunting divine deity, unless you are sure that person hasn't joined any shrine. Moreover, there are some places in the god's realm that are very strict, and there won't be any fights. If you break the rules set by the god's realm, you will be caught by the punishment shrine, and eventually locked in this place. Quote. The prisoners that are locked up in this place will have their divine deity cut off from the divine hall. Because the various divine halls do not wish for the people inside to be prisoners, hunting them down here can make a huge profit. Chen Zhang's hands were itching too. If he were to secretly collect some divine deity, and go to God's realm to attack them, wouldn't he be able to become a rich man? Aren't you afraid of being discovered? Chen Shang felt that Yu Fan was too bold. As long as I don't get investigated by the other divine halls, no one will care where my divine deity comes from. Yu Fan said. Actually, I have a large limit. I can't get too far away from Fengshen native bank at the start, and most of my power was sealed by penalty heavenly god when I entered, but I have a strand of his power inside my body. As long as I am in danger of my life, penalty heavenly god will save me. Penalty heavenly god is so powerful. Did he not think that you would let the people here help you seize the divine deity? If Chen Shang did not understand all of this clearly, he did not want to be involved in this, in case something big happened. Yu Fan laughed. Of course he would consider such a thing. In fact, as long as a person who had been sent to divine prison continued to kill, it would be even more difficult to get out in the future, and they might even be sent to hell. When entering the divine prison, everyone's killing intent would be recorded, and if the killing intent was too strong when leaving the divine prison, then they would be in for a ride of misfortune. It's not like there aren't any people who would go to hell from here. Quote. In this regard, the punishment hall has many ways to know whether or not you killed someone. However, you are different. You came here from somewhere else, so the punishment hall does not have your previous records. Even though this is divine prison, my life is not too bad. If they went to hell with him, it would be a fate worse than death. As far as I know, even if we kill a person here, we will still be severely punished, unless we have a way to escape the sentencing temple's detection. Quote. Chen Shang chuckled. If I don't kill him myself, I won't accumulate killing intent. Yu Fan shook his head. When taking the divine deity, you have to destroy the other party's soul first, if not the other party's soul will complain. When you exterminate the soul, you will also accumulate the aura of slaughter. Quote. It seems like this divine prison has very strict rules. Now, Chen Shang understood why Peng Renyi said that it was safe, but he believed that Peng Renyi must have killed many people here. Alright, I'll help you. However, I am in a very bad situation right now. Hell Devil Emperor told me about the tracing mantra and he can know where I am at any time. Chen Shang said. If you can help me solve this problem, I think I can go even more smoothly. This is a bit troublesome. Yu Fan said. Your cultivation is not high, but I know that you have ways to get the divine deity that I need. It's just a little troublesome, but you don't have to worry too much. This place is isolated from the outside world. Although Hell Devil Emperor knows your location, he cannot immediately inform his subordinates. But I believe that he will have a way, so it would be best for you to move quickly. Quote. Yu Fan took out a flying discs and handed it over to Chen Shang. I accidentally obtained this in the God's realm, no one knew that I had this thing. This thing is very quick, and can help you avoid being hunted down by those people.